Bills gearing up for Monday Night Football, where they're going to travel to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. We'll get the official injury report for today later this afternoon, but multiple reports do have from practice Matt Milano, TJ Sanders, Curtis Samuel, and DeMar Hamlin as non-participants. Game designations are going to come out tomorrow, and we'll get more on the Bills. Sal Capaccio will join the show later on this afternoon at 5 p.m. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-MILLION. Some notes around the NFL. No Lamar Jackson again for Baltimore at practice. All signs are pointing to Cooper Rush getting the start against the Rams. Kyler Murray was back at practice today for the Cardinals, though no sign if he will be participating this weekend. And then Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy. He is expected to go against Detroit. That according to head coach Andy Reid. For the Sabres, they are off to Boston for their game tomorrow night. They are 0-1 on the season. Zach Benson not going to play tomorrow. Owen Power did make the trip. He could play tomorrow, while Josh Norris, he's being evaluated after suffering an injury yesterday. He is not expected to play. This all according to head coach Lindy Ruff. And with that, the team has called up forward Josh Dunn. No games tonight, though, in the NHL. A full slate will be ahead of you for tomorrow afternoon. Then in baseball, just one game tonight, and the winner advances to take on the Blue Jays in the ALCS. It's Mariners hosting the Tigers. First pitch just after 8. Skubal and Kirby are on the bump. And then Sports Talk on WGR is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
My dad's not here right now. He's still at work. So I'm going to blast him.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I'm going to see if there's a clean version so that my parents and the people at my school will not get mad at me. We've got the spritzer filled with water just in case if stuff gets too fire. I'm going to set up the speaker and I'm going to listen to
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I think this is the best
Mike Schopp
feature that I've heard in a long time. I think his flow is really good in it, and I like his aggressiveness on it. And
the Bulldog.
Put not enough effort in it. I think overall his flow was good, but I don't like that mumble rapping. That was my review of
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Didn't need a spritzer. Wasn't fire enough. No spritzer for you. No spritzer.
Hi there, Football Friday. Look who it is. Twitch, YouTube, look who it is.
Is that me?
You're dragging.
You're referring to me.
I'll say it.
You're referring to me.
I know just what to do.
Yeah, you do. You do know what just.
I do. I think I do.
Know just what
Well, it would be two things, and you've already decided on one of them.
You made coffee. So
one.
and I very rarely go in on the afternoon coffee, but I thought,
You used to. You did before I did.
Yeah, I did. Not regularly on this show though. But yeah, if I'm going out on a Friday night, I would almost always drink coffee all through the show.
I usually drink coffee in here every day.
Yeah.
Almost every day.
If I had this, I will pay for this later. I'm sacrificing my good night's rest, of trying to jumpstart. I'm trying, maybe some would even say kickstart my heart. No, sorry.
See, I mean,
well, we didn't get to hear it last night.
Are we sure there is a goal song?
Would you like me to hum it for you if you don't know how it goes? Anyway, so coffee. You made coffee, and I'm partaking, which is rare, but I needed it. So.
Is that a terrible choice for a goal song? What year is it?
I've never disliked the song, but it is so played out in the pantheon of arena songs. It is, I know, right? We
couldn't get Cotton Eye Joe.
It's like you construct an arena, and it's in the top 5 of songs you're going to hear walking in the door the first time the arena opens. Like during some stoppage in play, I'm going to hear "Kickstart My Heart." I mean, I like the riff. I've liked the song.
I told you
I didn't need it as a goal song.
I mean, it's awful as a goal song. I told you I would go completely counterculture if I were the Sabres this year. And so, a goal song. I mean. Who's going to say no? It might be you, Stephen Bishop from Tootsie. I mean, let's just make it different. Well, it's not different yet this year.
No.
It's definitely not different.
No.
And we've got the big goal song poll, and they don't even get to play it.
You got the goal song poll. You reverted to form. I didn't even. I don't know. I mentioned that thing more than once because I was, kind of, trying to get Jared's thing home, the Swords of 1,000 Men or whatever. And I didn't know that just keeping the old song was even an option. And I don't know, whatever. Anyway. And yeah, Josh Norris is hurt. And so, I mean.
Don't ruin Football Friday.
Did you see the play?
Yes.
Did you see, if that hurt any part of his body,
you'd be worried.
He was never going to make it through 5 games.
You'd be worried for his well-being.
70. Just nothing happened there, and he's broken. And I just, what a disaster. What a disaster.
That's why.
Not the season, but like him, geez, man.
That's why when I was feeling good about that trade when it happened, because it meant the Sabres actually did a thing, I had a friend in the league text me like, OMG, why? Like, well, what do you mean why? Like, Cousins wasn't playing well, and this team kind of sits around all year, and he's like, nobody wanted this guy because of his injuries. Like, all right, well, what do I say back to that? I just kind of sit here and wait for him to play a full season, and it's like half of a game,
right,
and it's just over maybe already. I don't know. It's not over, but what a hilariously bad start for them.
Yeah.
I hope the food was good.
Me too.
Football Friday, anyway. The Bills don't play until Monday night. So I had 2 moves to get Bulldog kind of back a little bit. He's sick and he's tired and whatever else. And one was coffee, but I wasn't going to sort of just pour coffee into his mouth. I mean, so that's up to you. You already chose to do it.
That's a step I needed to take on my own. Sure. Yeah.
The other was, guys, right? This has to work. If the coffee doesn't work to get him going, this has to work, right? Ready? 3 words. Raheem Morris.
Oh, I was
Come on. Know your role.
I was afraid you were going to do this.
Raheem Morris. Tell us why. Just sort of get us going. Why we should hate the Falcons coach. Raheem Morris. Does anybody hate Raheem Morris? Does anybody like Raheem Morris? People probably do.
I do.
Is it more like than hate? Is he doing well? Is he good? What is it?
I don't know.
This is all for you. Raheem Morris.
No, I don't know. I got very little on Raheem Morris.
Let's work this up. Let's make this work.
Was in Tampa was he in Tampa?
Yeah.
When after Bruce Arians and before this?
Yeah.
So in between this job and the Tampa job or
Falcons.
And the Falcons job, he had.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. I'm doing great so far, aren't I? Yeah, I don't know.
This is his 6th year as an NFL head coach.
Right. Was there?
Tampa is before Brady.
Okay.
Tampa is
right. Oh, that's what I was trying to get. Yeah, I wasn't sure what his timeline was there. Was he interim on the Jets at one point? Do I have him? Am I mixing him up with someone else?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Then no. He was in Tampa before they won a Super Bowl with Brady.
Right. Bowles, who is in Tampa now,
that's the Jet.
Was the
Jet.
defensive coordinator for Arians when they won it.
Okay.
And now he's doing well there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so you're nowhere on Raheem Morris.
No, I'm no. No.
Still a young guy.
Yeah. I mean, go get him. I've had my fun over the years with Atlanta because it's just it's a weird, it's a huge city. There's a lot of transients, or just, transient means people are coming and going. Of course, any big city has that, but there's a lot of people that it's their adopted home. They're not from Atlanta. So that's the genesis of nobody even really likes the Falcons. They live there, so they root for the Falcons because they have an NFL team, but they don't really, they don't live it. They're not living and dying with it. It's just sort of, go team because we have a team kind of thing. But I like the quarterback, and I'm sort of pulling for it. I mean, not Monday night, but I want the quarterback thing I want it to work for Penix.
What do you think of the Bills being favored by 4.5?
I think it's a little weird. Maybe
That it's not higher?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Atlanta's been pretty uneven. I think they've had like one really good game offensively, I think, so far.
The Washington game?
Yeah.
Okay. They also got shut out by Carolina.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a little bit of a reaction to Sunday night that the Bills looked vulnerable. Last Sunday night, I mean, them losing the way they did to New England. I feel like the Bills against Atlanta, I never look at it way out in advance, but I don't know, it's maybe a touchdown, 6.5 or something is more like it. So it's one of those lines that I feel like you would look at when we're doing our picks segment, 6 o'clock coming up this Friday, and say, like, I don't know. You made this point about a game last week. I don't remember which one. It was 4.5. Somebody, I don't remember what game. Was it Denver maybe?
Denver, Philly?
Yeah, right. Why isn't it bigger? It's Philly at home. It was that same number, 4.5.
That's right.
And that's what this game sort of feels like.
I guess we know that now.
Right.
Philadelphia.
This game feels that
Philadelphia
way.
is
Philadelphia is bad
to me.
Yeah.
I've been winning on that premise
Yeah.
for a couple of weeks. Yeah, you don't always win this way. But sometimes the number there are like red lights flashing. Why is it only this number? I think Detroit, Kansas City this week is this a little bit. We have Sam Panayotovich coming up. He's on the Lions at plus 2.5.
Me too.
Okay, I don't want to be, but why isn't it 3? Mahomes at home? Why isn't it 3? Why isn't it 3 for the Chiefs at home against everybody? Right? Why is it only 2.5? So there's enough pressure on the Lions side for it to have not gotten to 3. I don't know. It's not just Sunday night, I think, with these Bills. I think it's the whole season. I mean, it's 5 games. Baltimore, they were lucky. I mean, they weren't terrible, but they were lucky. Jets, they were easily superior. The Jets are a joke.
Right.
Then you have the 3 games at home since Miami, New Orleans, New England. Bills, every time, big favorites. They cover none of those games, 0-3 against the spread, and they lose to the Patriots. I mean, this week has been interesting. I know you missed the last couple of days, but when I work alone, I want to make sure if I can do it, I've got something that I think you will want to respond to. It's different than just many of these days.
Sure.
Like today will be you and I having conversation. Mm-hmm. But when I'm alone, I want to make sure I've got something that I think listeners will respond to. And I sort of hit the ball. It's going in the hole toward left field. By the time it reaches the left field grass, the outfield grass, everybody's on hold with what their problems are with the Bills. It really was not. It really was a wasted effort.
Right. You
on Wednesday.
You pretty much could have just said we're open.
Yeah.
Right.
But I hadn't assumed that.
The lights are on. Yeah, I know.
I mean, I was just sort of thinking, we've had a couple of days here to talk since Sunday night. And, I mean, I heard everything from the wide receiver thing that never goes away to the secondary that's prominent, injuries, coaching, all of it. So fans were ready all week to tell you, because the Bills lost the game, so now it's okay.
Right, all the concerns you had, the feeling you had early fourth quarter against Miami and maybe against New Orleans gets validated by a loss. And so now if maybe you were one of the people that called us one of those weeks even though you knew you were maybe going to get, I don't know, going to quite laughed at, but like, what are we doing here exactly? I'm over here going, we're not going to make it to January, right? We're going to start eating one another because we're bored or whatever. The loss gives that validation. So, and anyone, no matter what you're thinking out there, getting it validated in some way is good. It feels good. So, I mean, I think a game where they just look like the better team and it's not debatable would go a long ways. And I don't know if this matchup is good for that. I mean, there's a lot of talent, skill position-wise, on that Atlanta team. I mean, I like the quarterback maybe more than most people, but he can make a lot of throws. I think that secondary will be taken out for a spin on Monday night. Robinson's elite. Drake London's great. Pitts is talented. He never really seems to manifest itself in big games, but whatever. And defensively, they've got a couple of young guys that come off the edge, and I think they'll be. I think it's a good test. I thought it when the schedule came out. There was a time where I would have looked at that Atlanta game as once you got past Baltimore, Atlanta was the next hard game. Mm-hmm. I was overlooking New England in that way, and so shame on me. They lost to New England, but this game has always sort of looked to me like it's going to be harder than a lot of people think type of game because you just don't. Probably don't respect Atlanta a lot. They're often not that good. But I think they're
never good.
I think they're talented. So
listen to me. It's interesting. The Bills have almost really no important history with the Falcons. So there's no game where, like so many other games, you have this you can draw on. We talk about the Ravens, not even in the Bills division, but like, oh, well, here are playoff games. Here's what the rivalry has looked like. Here's what we know what to do. I think with the Falcons, you have to sort of roll the dice a little bit.
I can remember Trey White getting an interception there in 2017 in the game that was played down there. I hope that's right. I have that in my head. The next thing I think of is Jim Kelly breaking that dude's leg at Rich Stadium in the 90s. So somebody picked him off, and Kelly, in tackling him, snapped the guy's leg in half. That's it for Falcons-Bills memories for me.
You got nothing for the Paul McFadden game?
I got nothing else for anything else.
Well, we're a team.
Those are
nothing
those
for
are
Paul
it.
McFadden?
There's a big gap from I don't know what year is that, 93 maybe, I'm guessing, 94. That Kelly, yeah.
90.
It's a famous highlight. You can, if you Google Kelly breaks guy's leg, it'll come up.
Don't do that.
Don't do it. It's not. It's gross.
You can't even really see it.
You can tell, though, I think that he actually, with his arm, breaks the guy's
It's
leg.
either 92 or 95.
Yeah.
Deion had a big play in one of those games.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders.
Right.
Paul McFadden, no?
No, I got nothing on Paul McFadden.
Oh, 89. 6-2 Bills. 2-6 Falcons.
This is the old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium.
That's correct.
I think I can see
the baseball diamond in the middle of the field.
Right. Did BB do something in that game?
Maybe.
He's on the team by then, I hope.
He went 1 for 5. Maybe he had a return.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay,
that
sure.
there was a maybe he had a kick return, but the Bills still lost it.
The Bills lost at the end. Paul McFadden was the maybe barefoot kicker. He was the kicker for the Falcons, and that was a very annoying loss. So yeah, not a lot there, but I think Bijan Robinson is at one book minus 180 to score a touchdown Monday. Now, James Cook is minus 170 at the same outlet. Mm-hmm. But that's going to be probably like those are both maybe top 5 numbers in the NFL this week for how likely it is they score. Now, you might have watched Atlanta in week 2 against Minnesota in the Sunday night game against Minnesota where McCarthy played his way out of the lineup and into an ankle injury. Mm-hmm. And Robinson, I thought, was awesome in that game. Never scored. Algier. The game goes maybe to the fourth quarter without a touchdown, so anybody playing first touchdown is pins and needles.
So like 22-6 or something? Was that
something like that was the final.
Score? Yeah.
Minnesota never did anything. Atlanta got a little bit done and looked good in the game, but we might not have thought of McCarthy as like so much of a liability at that point. But it's Atlanta's night. And Robinson, I mean, who knows? What do you think? Like after Sunday night, so Sunday night comes around and the Bills are giving up 6 yards a carry, but they're number 1 in the league against the pass. And how did New England do against their defense? Well, they managed. They really didn't run the ball effectively at all. They got in the end zone a couple times with Stevenson after they were set up down there, but it's really May and Diggs that did all the damage, almost all the damage for New England that night. So maybe are we looking at the run defense as like, okay, now we're not worried about it anymore? I think if I'm Atlanta, this is easy. It's Robinson. If I have to go heavy, I will. I'm going to play action to London or Pitts. I might not have Mooney. And these are playmakers. And then I have Algier, who can be, well, some version of, if it's not too recent, Cam Scattaboo, where he can kind of just hammer you. So I like Atlanta's setup on offense in this game. We'll talk to Sal later and see what the Bills have on defense in terms of personnel. But I feel like I might like the over in the game because Allen never gets cheated. I mean, the roof is open, so it's not a dome, but still it's fast track, if you will. I think Allen will just never get cheated in a primetime game, even against the Patriots, where it came pretty tough for him. He still had 2 touchdown passes, he still had his runs. He was not a bust at all in terms of fantasy points in the game. So I got to think on a Monday night stage, he gets his. But I think Atlanta keeps up. We have Monday for this. I think this Sunday is maybe one of those days where maybe listeners are actually not excited about it necessarily, but they're planning to go apple picking. Because it's their wife's turn. It's not to be, stereotypical or sexist about it, but maybe it's like, all right, well, the Bills have played at night here. They've had 3 home games in a row, 4 out of 5. Maybe this is that time we sort of sacrifice our football lives and go.
Maybe the slate
look
of
at pumpkins.
The schedule maybe even gets you, if you want to just run the sexist thing into the ground here, to the point where the football fan could be the husband or the wife, whatever. The football fan in the couple says, do you want to maybe go apple picking on Sunday? Because they've looked at the schedule and are like, I'm all right.
Are you looking at the other games first?
Yeah.
That's a pro move.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I'm watching Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
Will I get credit for suggesting we do something else? I don't need to camp out here. I want to see Lions Chiefs at night.
Yeah, right.
Right. So, do I need to be here for 14 hours today?
What about the Sunday morning?
Probably not.
What about the morning? Denver Jets?
You can watch that while you're packing a cooler and getting ready for your apple picking picnic or whatever.
Some hard cider?
Yeah. I think you can pull that off.
All right.
But
it's very selfless.
1:00. I mean, what do we locally? Browns, Steelers, Cowboys, Panthers.
4:00 is San Francisco, Tampa.
Right. And then the night game.
That seems like a day you could live without.
Yeah, you really could. I might even try. I don't know. I mean, whatever.
I might not even try.
I missed most of the week already. Not really. I mean, I missed 2 days out of 5. That's not most.
See, you're back though. We didn't even need Raheem Morris slander.
Yeah, that's good.
You sound good.
I'm ready to go. I pounded my way through a cup of coffee in that first segment. I'm going to go get more.
It matters.
There'll be a point where that turns bad, probably. But maybe it'll be after 6:00.
Tune in and find out. Stay with us and see what happens later, like the high drama. Next, Sam Panayotovich bet sweats. Later, Matt Schauf, Draft Sharks. Especially with no Bills game Sunday, let's hammer out these lineups. Critical juncture in the season, wouldn't you say? I mean, this is when
I really feel the heat, yeah.
You really need to start winning and get into that playoff spot or make deals, whatever it is you have to do. Sal Capaccio later as well. Picks at 6. The Sabres are off. They're in Boston tomorrow. Paul Hamilton won't be with us today as he is on his way to Boston, which makes sense. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Football Friday on WGR. Well, it's brought to you by Celino Law. Car crash? Call Celino, call the 8s. And by Crosby's Pizza and Subs, Crosby's Hometown Fuel. Game day ready. since 1922. We need a break. We'll be back in a snap, brought to you by Snapdragon Apples, the official apple of the Buffalo Bills. One of the highlights every week, Fridays, 3:30 Eastern, Sam Panayotovich, Bet Sweats, Odyssey Betting Insider. Check out Sam's show with Joe Ostrowski, weekday mornings, 9 to noon. You can do that on the Bet 1520 here in Buffalo, the Odyssey app, or on YouTube. I mean, I don't know. Should I be mad at myself for last night? I nailed last night. But I even started Jackson Dart over Justin Fields in a league, which was...
What a big step.
It's been good for me this year. I'm sort of trusting myself more than I usually do. Oh, the projections say this guy, but I don't know. But I refused to... Sam, this is how it is at my house. I live right on the water, on the border from Canada, on Grand Island. And I placed a bet, Giants to win, Wan'Dale Robinson, 6 or more catches, 4-1, at least. It was, I loved it. Because I love the Giants. I think you did too. We'll find out. So sometimes when I'm sitting at my dining room table, sometimes it goes and sometimes you're in another country. We can't accept this. And I had lineups to do, and my dog was jumping around, dinner's cooking. I just didn't go back. I can walk to my backyard.
Whether it worked, yeah.
I can walk to my backyard. In the dark, if I want it badly enough, I know I can walk into the woods. And eventually it will accept me being in the United States, and it will accept the bet. But I was just not willing.
Listen to all of this.
No, that's the point. All of this is nonsense, and I didn't do it. And, there have probably been times when I would have lost money this way, but when I could have won money, it's annoying.
Just get a new house. Just move to a new neighborhood.
Just
Simple.
Move. Get all this done when I'm at work. Here, 15 miles away, no issues.
Yeah.
Just do it here. That's probably a good plan.
Not that you probably care, Sam, but last night was the return of the Tage Thompson business plan for me. So I'm back at it for a third season in a row here with the Tage Thompson hat trick bets. It's okay. It didn't win. I didn't even score a single goal, but it's a long play.
You've hit a couple, right?
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. Yeah. No, I'm so far ahead on that. It's not even funny.
Well,
seriously, I could lose this entire season and next season and still be ahead, I think.
You don't even have to walk into the woods.
Really. One hit is all you need. Although last night it wasn't very juicy. It was only 5,500 or something, and I like it to be near 7.
Sam, I know your partner knows this. Hockey started.
Joe famously said on our show, we actually got invited to go to the Winter Classic, which was in Chicago last year. And Joe famously said on the show, I wouldn't go to the Winter Classic if it was in my backyard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I brought up hockey to him yesterday, and he had headed for the hills immediately. So I get it. The Bills in Atlanta on Monday night, they have not covered since week 2. 3 home games in a row, 2 wins, all big numbers. What do you think the betting market, and what do you think your attitude right now is about the Bills?
Well, the narrative now, and I've heard this from several people, a lot of them bettors, the Bills don't blow anybody out. And I guess. You look at the schedule, they beat the Jets by 20. They did let the Saints hang around. They let the Dolphins hang around. But when the narrative starts to shape and people start banging on the table that the Bills keep letting bad teams hang around, that's when the Bills win by 30. Now, I'm not going to call my shot and say they're going to go to Atlanta and win by 4 touchdowns, but I think the over is good in this game. The market is kind of sitting 49.5, 50 right now. I know some guys that really like the over, and they're going to bet that over the weekend. Wink, wink. Remember, a lot of games on Monday don't really get shaped in the form until Sunday or Monday because people don't bet Monday night until they make sure they have money from the weekend. So I do think you're going to see this total get to about 51. That's my expectation by kickoff. If you would like to put that Buffalo bet in now, you probably get a good number because it probably moves up. Again, wink, wink. I don't love Atlanta's defense, but I also think Bijan Robinson can be a problem for Buffalo's defense. And I also, every week, I ask you guys, who's playing on defense? Is Ed Oliver playing again? Is Milano playing? These are things I just don't know. But the respected guys that I talk to read this game do like points. fireworks, touchdowns. So that's the look there, I think, over 49.5.
I like it too. This week we won't be able to tell you because it being a Monday night game, it'll be tomorrow before at the earliest.
When they make, but Milano hasn't practiced. And
he's out.
He's not. They haven't declared anyone out, but it would stun me if he played. Oliver has been practicing limited for 2 weeks now, and he still missed last week's game. So I don't know. Maybe he makes it back, but we won't know more until tomorrow.
I think, Bulldog, there's an element with the Bills of when you have your bye. Like this is the Ravens too. The next week is the Bills and the Ravens on bye, and you see that bye week. And maybe you just sort of use that to break ties on your injuries. So Max Hairston, their first-round pick, cornerback, we're going to wait. Whoever else it might be, I think this week you're cautious. It's the Falcons. May I say that? I think, you might sort of look past the bye week for this stuff. I don't know what that means for Oliver, in his case, but I might think that teams with long-range high expectations and goals. See an NFC opponent, Ravens, Rams this week. I mean, the Ravens are down bad, but I think they might decide to play it cautiously with injuries in this kind of situation, generally.
So I am not, and granted, I got knocked out of Survivor by the Bills. Joy. Just awesome. Drake May, just right in my eye hole on Sunday night. It was unbelievable. You guys did warn me about that, too. You were like, be careful. And I said, I don't be careful. They're not going to lose. And then they lost. Awesome. But teams like that, generally resilient, not just Buffalo, but like the elite teams in the NFL. And yes, boys and girls, the Bills are still elite. Those teams tend to get off the pavement that next week. And I do think this could be one of those games where you just get one of the horses to set the pace early. You get a quick touchdown from either Buffalo or Atlanta, and then we're just off to the races. So that's sort of what I forecast for Monday.
Love it. Sam Panayotovich with us. So, by the way, before we leave the Bills game, the Bills are in the room, Sam? That doesn't slow you down? Or you're not on their side as much as you're on the total or the over, it seems?
Yeah, the room the room is, I guess. The room is the collection of bets at BetMGM that the public is just salivating over, and Buffalo did make the room, so the public will be on the Bills. Joe does like the Bills, and Joe's not necessarily a public bettor by any stretch, but I just much rather root for points. You got two potentially decent games on Monday. Naturally, the league is going to stack them by only an hour, so one will kick at 7:15, and then the other one, Chicago-Washington's at 8:15, but whatever. I'm not going to talk about the schedule because nobody cares, but yeah, you should have two good ones on Monday.
They've tried both things. They did the doubleheader too. I think this year they're rolling out. They want to find out maybe for once and for all which is the better plan.
How to optimize the audience for both games.
Because they did the 7 and 10 in week 3, and they've done this I think weeks 4 and 6. I like the Bears Monday. I told Joe this yesterday too. I don't think you guys do, but I feel like the Bears are trending up and they're still not respected. And maybe Washington, after last week, Sam, you were on them last week at the Chargers. Maybe the overall sentiment is that they're fine. Are they fine? What is this game for you, Monday?
I'd like to know if McLaurin's playing. I'm going to guess no. If he was in, I would like it a little bit more. I was honestly hoping, though, I said this earlier in the week, I was hoping that Washington didn't just win convincingly against the Bolts, because now the number's 4.5. I was going to bet a lot on Washington -3, and I know it might sound weird for me to say I don't love it at 4.5. That's a big difference, -3 in the projected number to 4.5. Now, if it's 21-17, 24-20, I'm going to lose laying 4.5. So every half point, every point, it all adds up. I really wanted Washington to kind of come in a little sleepy or a little undervalued, but when you win the way you won against, I almost said San Diego, almost said a bad word there, Los Angeles, excuse me, people are paying attention to that. So I probably won't bet the game. I'll have all my chickens in the Buffalo-Atlanta over basket.
Nice.
What do you think about Indianapolis? 7.5 at home, hosting Arizona. That's a big number, but they are scoring points, and it seems maybe warranted. Maybe I'm looking now, it says 6.5 at ESPN right now, but I saw 7.5 earlier. What do you make of the Colts? Are you ready to ride with the Colts yet?
I was one of the early riders on the Colts. After week 2, I started buying some stock in them to win the division at plus 140, plus 150, and that price is generally still sort of close to that number. But now you got Jacksonville. I mean, Jacksonville's right there. Who would have thought? Everybody was talking Houston all summer, and now it's Jacksonville and Indy. It's kind of how the world works in the NFL. But I'm not laying 7 in this spot. I have no interest. I think a lot of people would do this, Bulldog. They would take that Colts team and they would put it in a teaser or a money line parlay. So I really think the best teaser this week, and that's, of course, when you move 2 teams 6 points, like Denver at the Jets. I don't think Denver's going to lose overseas to the Jets. The Jets are a dumpster fire. So I can take Denver from minus 7.5 to minus 1.5 and then hook it with something else. The Indy leg makes a ton of sense, from 7 down to 1, 6.5 down to a half point. Maybe even LA Rams, like Rams 7.5 at Baltimore down to 1.5. I think those 3 teaser legs are all really, really strong. Denver down, the Rams down, and the Colts down. I don't want to lay 7 with the Colts. This is a spot where, like, everybody's on the Colts. The mailman was like, hey, I kind of like the Colts today. I'm like, oh, great, you too? Like, that's the sense I get from this game. Nobody bought the Colts until now, when everybody's going to be on the Colts.
Yeah, that's tricky. You can always tie yourself up in knots on these, because this was almost the same thing last week. They had the Raiders at home, and how aggressive do you want to be on Indianapolis? Like, how good are they? And that game was an absolute blowout for them. So I'm with you, Sam. Like, I'm not as excited to go with Indianapolis here, because the Arizona vibes are so bad after last week. You know, like, this is a classic buster game, as we call it around here. You're big into the Lions here this week, I know. What do you think? So it's 2.5 at Kansas City, and the Lions are the room. One of their segments on Bet Sweats is like, this is what the public is into. It's Detroit, which is maybe a little bit disconcerting. What do you think? The public or the sharps, anybody, what is the vibe on Kansas City at this point? Like, they really can't be, like, pick 'em with Detroit at home. I know they lost the game Monday night. What do you think generally the vibe is about the Chiefs?
A bookmaker would tell you about the Super Bowl loser voodoo. I've heard that a ton this year. You know, you go back and you look at teams that have lost in the Super Bowl that next year. It's just a collection of things that continue to go wrong, and maybe that's a perfect example. You know, Mahomes throws a pick 6 from his own goal line. You know, like, you're supposed to get 7 and then you give up 7, and then Trevor Lawrence picks his nose, trips over his own feet, and then scores the game-winning touchdown. You're like, oh, okay, that was weird. But weird things happen to the teams that lose the Super Bowl for the most part. If you ask a football X and O maven, like, he would point to the Chiefs' pass rush. It's almost non-existent. And I saw this stat on Monday that Trevor Lawrence had 3.3 seconds per pass. That's a lifetime in the NFL. So, yeah, well, your secondary's good. Your secondary's better when your pass rush gets home, and the Chiefs have been very, very bad at getting to the quarterback. That's going to be an issue for them against Detroit, because Goff usually struggles when he's pressured. Well, if the Chiefs can't pressure, you got all day to go through your reads and hit St. Brown and Jamison Williams. You got, Jahmyr Gibbs, Montgomery. The weapons are there. The way to beat Detroit is through pressure, and the Chiefs just don't have it right now. So I think they're going to be working the phones. I think they're going to have to make a trade if they want to make another deep run. And I understand people wanting to buy low and bet Kansas City 10-1 to win the Super Bowl and all that. Fine, I understand it. But if they can't get to the quarterback, they're not making a playoff run. I'm sorry.
Got to quickly, and then we'll try to get a college pick from you here. But NFL MVP at this point, Allen has been kind of the clear favorite. It seems to me that there are a lot of good ideas in the MVP market. What do you see?
Well, I think the slide for Herbert is expected, because there's no way that any human can take that much of a beating every week and make it through the season putting up numbers. I mean, his O-line is just mangled right now, and now both backs are hurt. Herbert was one of the guys, like, in the team photo, and now he's 20-1. Maybe Stafford, Mike. I mean, Stafford at 15, 16-1. I know they've lost a couple of games, but it is what it is. He's putting up numbers. McVay and him have always been awesome together. So if I was looking for a bet now, I would probably go Stafford at 15-1.
Love it. College pick of the week. What do you like?
I was going to say, if we don't get to a college pick, my inbox is going to be lit on fire. People are just waiting every week for the WGR Schopp and the Bulldog college pick. It's been doing pretty well. No jinxes, no jinxes. I love Illinois this week, and I'm not an Illinois guy, even though I did go there. I'm not a big Illinois guy. I took 14.5 with Illinois, and I'm sorry, I don't believe this John Mateer is good to go for Oklahoma. I think that's a ruse. He had surgery on his throwing hand 16 days ago. Now he's going to come back and carve up Texas? I like Illinois and Texas this weekend.
What we don't know, you guys have been talking about this every day. What we don't know is whether he can throw lefty. Like nobody's asked that question. If he can actually throw lefty. I'm not even sure that helps him get recruited, any of it. Maybe he doesn't need his throwing hand this time because he's got two.
He might.
Maybe.
He might need it. He might need it against Texas.
He might. Is it Oklahoma -1 at the moment, something like that for this game?
The line
River
opened
shootout.
Texas -3. It opened Texas 3. Now it's Oklahoma 1.5. They're betting Oklahoma like they know he's going to play, like he's 100%, and I just know better. I've seen this movie too many times with hurt quarterbacks.
What is that game doing at 3:30, by the way? Isn't that always noon? I feel like Oklahoma, Texas is noon. It has been a lot. I don't know. I was a little surprised to see that game later in the afternoon. I'm sure it's for TV, whatever, but I don't know. I like that big rivalry game going early.
There must be a hockey game at noon this year.
That's what it is.
That's probably why. Or a Suns preseason basketball game in China, because it would be early there, Sam.
Yeah, nothing like eating a bagel and losing money on a preseason game in China.
Wouldn't know. Sam, thank you. Always a pleasure. Enjoy your weekend. No weddings to go to, hopefully.
No weddings. So we got to work on this. I think I'm coming to town for Bills Chiefs. I'm working on it.
Yeah, good. We'll be here.
Yeah, that text you sent me last week read like a threat, but I'm excited about it, though. I mean that sincerely.
3 weeks away, something, 4 maybe. All right, thanks, Sam. Bye.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Sam Panayotovich, Bet Sweats, weekday mornings on the Bet 1520, 9 to noon. You can hear Sam with Nick Kostos as well, leading up to kickoff on Sunday. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Football Friday. This is WGR. S. for being this week's lucky winner of the Football Friday Tailgate Tray giveaway. Mark S. has scored a $300 tailgate tray certificate from Alibaba Kebab. We're picking a new winner every Friday. Keep those entries coming at WGR550.com. Fire up your taste buds at any of their 3 locations. Mark S.
Isn't that Severance?
The runner-up was Helly R.
Right. Over Mark S. I think that's it.
The runner-up. A close second this week was Helly R. All right, Mark S. Way to go. See you there. I don't know where, but I might just
I don't know where that is
it.
either, but, you've got a lot of kebabs. So good.
Got a lot.
That'll work.
Jackson Dart is the new youngest quarterback to beat a Super Bowl defending champion since Cliff Olander in 1977.
Weird, I don't remember that.
Well, he's the youngest. He actually broke Cliff Olander's record as being this poor guy, Cliff Olander. He started 1 game in the NFL ever. He beat the Raiders 12-7.
All right.
Going 5 for 13 for 51 yards. Ken Stabler went 4 for 12 for 40 yards. I don't know what happened on this ill-fated day.
Sideways rain.
The guy's one thing has been, I'm the youngest quarterback. It beat in my bio. I'm the youngest quarterback ever to beat a defending Super Bowl champion.
No, that's gone.
Until last night when Jackson Dart does it.
I wonder if Jackson Dart was aware of what he was doing while he was doing it.
I do too.
Would that have deterred him at all?
But that was really fun.
Yeah.
I tweeted, this is the most fun the Giants have been since at least before Eli Manning. I was told they won 2 Super Bowls with Eli Manning. I know. I'm still saying it. The Giants were never cool when Eli Manning was the quarterback, ever. When they won Super Bowls, it was lame. We liked them because they beat the Patriots. Otherwise, we would have just not cared. But before Eli Manning, maybe you go back far enough, maybe they were once cool.
No.
Never
the
cool.
The Giants have never been cool.
They're kind of cool right now.
I might say the coolest thing they've ever done is beat the Patriots twice in Super Bowls. But not cool. Not cool at all. I've hated the Giants my whole life. Even before Super Bowl 25. They just always seemed like boring. Like, I love Summerall and Madden, but it just seemed like boring.
Yep.
Don't know how to throw. Are they playing with a square ball? Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
A little like Bearsy.
Let's go.
To me, the Giants. So, it still stings that they got the Bills like they did in 90.
Some would say their defining play in history is the Miracle of the Meadowlands, where they actually decided to run a handoff when they could have just kneeled out the clock, and they ended up fumbling the game away. I think that's probably right. Or it's one of their 4 Super Bowl wins.
Dayball must be having some kind of flashbacks because, he was here. Not that Dart is looking like Allen already or anything, but the vibes are off the charts. And the first thing that you could say about Allen was that before it all came together, right away, like, unless these guys are all incredible actors, they really seem to like this guy. Like, they seem to be having no trouble at all getting behind him, right? We'll see what he does with that and where his ability and talent actually takes him and them. But I feel like it was believable pretty early on that the players on the team were like, we got a guy. Like, I can get with this guy. And Dart has all of those vibes. And Dayball was here he wasn't here right away, but certainly when it started taking shape.
Yep.
So he must be having some I would guess he's having flashbacks. Like, maybe we got a guy here.
And then Scattaboo,
right,
who gives you more of the vibes you're talking about.
Right.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. It's Football Friday on WGR.
Folks, Bulldog here.
been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over, it's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. Roller coaster.
The official injury report is out for the Bills. 4 players missed practice today. Matt Milano and TJ Sanders, along with DeMar Hamlin and Curtis Samuel. Hamlin and Samuel, though, they are downgraded from limited yesterday. And then just 2 players were limited, Dalton Kincaid and Ed Oliver. And then following practice, though, it should be noted, Oliver, meeting with the media, said that he believed he was ready for Monday. We'll get game designations to see if that is true tomorrow. And then Sal Capaccio, he joins the show later this afternoon at 5. The Barnes from Injury Report is brought to you by The Barnes from Injured for Help. Call 1-800-8-MILLION. No Lamar Jackson again for Baltimore. While it's not official, Cooper Rush likely to get the start against the Rams. Kyler Murray was back at practice today for the Cardinals. We'll see if he is going to be good to go against the Colts this weekend. And then Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy, he's set to play against Detroit. The same, though, cannot be said for Terry McLaurin for Washington. He is going to be out against Chicago. Sabres are off to Boston. They take on the Bruins tomorrow night. Zach Benson and Josh Norris both not making the trip. Norris still being evaluated, but Owen Power is making the trip. He could potentially play, that according to head coach Lindy Ruff. And the team is also calling up Josh Dunn as well. No games, though, tonight in the NHL. It's a full slate tomorrow afternoon. Then in baseball, just one game. The winner is going to advance to take on the Blue Jays in the ALCS. It's Mariners hosting the Tigers. First pitch just after 8. Skubal and Kirby are on the bump. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
If you wrap foil around that, just like the little bit of the base part of the banana where the fruit is, wrap foil around that top and they will last longer.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Who needs your bananas to last longer, though?
Look, I don't want to go to the store every other day for bananas.
They're 8 cents each.
What the hell are you talking about? What is going on?
You're going to wrap them in foil?
They're better when they're just a little green. Yeah.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Too much work.
Not that much trouble. Too
much work.
Says the guy that's got a spreadsheet with 3,000 fantasy teams.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Welcome back. Football Friday on WGR. We love to talk fantasy football on Fridays, especially when there is no Bills game coming up on Sunday. And in this case, that's what we have. They'll play Monday night in Atlanta. Very excited to welcome Matt Schauf back to our show from Draft Sharks. Matt, how have you been?
I'm great. I'm happy to be back because I guess it means I didn't screw up too bad last time.
I say that every day.
Right. They keep letting us in here. It's been 20 years or more than 20 years for the two of us together, and our key fobs keep working.
I will often say at the end of shows, we'll be back tomorrow if they'll have us. So we take nothing for granted around here. Matt, how's your season been?
Pretty good. There's always ups and downs, but the further we get into the season, you get to see more what you got wrong, what you got right, and actually adjust to the data and realize where you might have been overreacting over the first couple weeks. But pretty good so far overall.
Brock Bowers, so they just, I think maybe Pete Carroll just said he won't play this week. I was on ADP Chasing podcast I do just this past Tuesday, and I was ready to take an L on Bowers, having drafted a lot of him, because it always kind of, I think I took too much for granted, Matt, that it would be, a winning coach and Chip Kelly, and they'll just never not recognize the possibilities with Bowers. And, my guys on that show told me I shouldn't be willing to do that it's not my fault. He got hurt, week 1 after having a big game. But now I'm sitting here with, he hasn't done much numbers-wise, and he's going to miss at least 2 games in a row here. How do you feel like the Bowers bet looks at this point? How does it feel at this point? Were you wrong, or were you just unlucky?
Well, I will say injuries are tough. Anybody who gets hurt, there's no way to expect that. I didn't like Brock Bowers where you had to take him because that being a one-starter position for most leagues just adds risk to it, where any little thing like this that goes wrong is going to leave you searching at that spot. If you're starting 3 receivers and one of them doesn't work out, it's just a lot Jared Smola, my podcast co-host, my colleague at Draft Sharks, we weren't really drafting Brock Bowers at cost, but I can't say right now that you got it wrong because he's been dealing with a knee injury since week 1.
Right, and there's still time. You got to keep your head above water, but there's time. It's still pretty early, or is it getting late already for you guys?
It's starting to get late.
Okay.
Well, I mean, what I think maybe what Matt is saying that's so important is, so last night, Theo Johnson, right? Like, here's a guy on the Giants that looked promising, scored 2 touchdowns in week 5. Well, I've got Brock Bowers, and he's hurt. So I'll start Theo Johnson, and he gives you like 2 for 20 or something like that. I mean, that's really how it goes at tight end. You just sort of have to live with you. Once in a while, you'll get 20 points, but you'll often get 3. And, like, am I right here, Matt? Like at wide receiver, you plug in Jalen Waddle or somebody like that for Malik Neighbors, like you can get by. It's easier to get by.
Right. There are still fill-in options at tight end. It feels worse because the whole position is volatile, but, I mean, that's why you made the bet on Brock Bowers, because the upside on him is that he could just be different and make things different all season from that spot. So I wouldn't kick myself too much while a guy is injured. We'll see once he's back. I would say maybe the takeaway going forward is consider how much risk there is in that one-starter spot, and, I don't know, think about what the insurance options are, and especially if you do make that bet so high, might be worth it to grab a backup at the end of the draft where you might not normally draft a second tight end.
Yeah, good point.
Matt, while we're on tight ends, Dalton Kincaid has been someone who's been talked about a lot since being drafted here by the Bills. Big numbers of receptions rookie year, but not a lot of touchdowns. Last year was kind of lost to injury. And this year he's scoring, had his first 100-yard game without a touchdown last week. Now there's a little bit of he was limited this week in practice, oblique injury. But what have you made of Kincaid so far? And like, are you pretty bullish on him moving forward?
I was bullish on him at cost, so I'm happy with how it's going with him so far. I'm also, now that it seems to be going well, I want to highlight the cautionary part because his role is still a little bit limited in terms of how often he's on the field, how many routes he's running, how many targets he's getting versus other guys around him in the tight end rankings. So there's still a little bit of fragility there, but it's easier to put up with at tight end because, as we were just talking about, so many of the guys are so volatile. So we can take, somebody whose down week is 3 to 4 targets if he can also give us those big weeks and be, one of the primary targets. One of the key things for Dalton Kincaid, a reason to like him, both heading into the season and now, is because he's basically the number 2 target in Buffalo where, everybody eats. So there's no real number 1, number 2. That helps. So I like him. I'm glad with what's going on right now. I don't think that he's, a sure thing to be a top 5 tight end the rest of the way, but he should pay off where we drafted him.
Yeah, that's another piece of this tight end puzzle is those guys in the middle. I mean, Kincaid, you're alive with Kincaid. Ferguson is tight end 1, I think, for Dallas. Tucker Kraft might be if he didn't have a bye already. Like he's right there too. Evan Engram was in that range. Kyle Pitts was in that range. So it's not like all just gold, but waiting at that position probably worked out for you at this point, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, the way to draft tight end is generally you get a stud or you wait and find somebody who becomes a lot stronger than anybody thought heading into the draft. Not anybody thought, but a lot stronger than consensus had them. That's just traditionally been the way that it works at tight end.
Yeah. Should we all have picked Christian McCaffrey first?
I don't know about first, but we should have picked him third. That's what I was doing, was taking him at least third among running backs. And it would have been a difficult choice for me between him and Saquon Barkley. I'm happy that I have Christian McCaffrey on my FFPC main event team where I took him 4th overall. So I do think that people were overrating the injury issue. I said that just before the season started, and then right after I said that on somebody else's show, I heard the news that he was limited in that practice with a calf injury. I was like, oh, God, I'm about to swallow those words. But, that's past for now. We have to gauge every single injury situation and not just treat something that happened last year as a bigger risk factor for this year. I think that's the big takeaway with McCaffrey.
2 years in a row, 2 or 3 days before the season opener, McCaffrey was very iffy. And this year is oh, no problem. And he's on pace to break his own record for receptions. at the position. Last year he went to Germany for 10 weeks. Like, just there's only
That's the key. That's the key. When a guy flies over to Europe, that's when it's time to start worrying about.
That's a bad sign. I mean, even with all the NFL games over there now, you're still saying that's a bad sign. Yeah.
If he flies to Germany in week 3, it's not a problem. But if it's right before the season, then it's a problem.
Right. Matt Schauf, our guest from Draft Sharks, here on the Western Hotline. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, Football Friday on WGR. So, thinking about like what we did or didn't do well in drafts, what about the elite quarterbacks? I mean, Lamar Jackson is injured. He was still putting up, great numbers before he got hurt, mostly. Allen, again this year, doesn't have the big passing numbers, save the opener against Baltimore when they were losing. But you're still getting there, I think, with Allen. Does it look like it was a good bet in hindsight? Allen, Jackson, I know different situations, Hurts even. Jaden Daniels, who also missed games. How do you think that looks looking back?
I think it's still playing out right now. It's tougher to gauge with the injuries to Lamar and to Jaden Daniels, but the rest of the group might be coming up. Baker Mayfield's the one that's surprising me. Yeah. He still seems like he's riding on luck, like the high touchdown rate, and not throwing interceptions on balls that should be intercepted. So it feels like it's still lucky there, but I don't know how long you have to be lucky before you have to treat it like it's reality instead. So I think that we might be looking at something that's going to change how I draft quarterbacks next year. But that said, if everybody sees the group like that and all of the studs come a little bit further down, then it's going to make sense again to draft the stud quarterbacks. Because, like you said, Lamar Jackson was scoring before he went down. Josh Allen's still scoring. Jalen Hurts is still scoring. It's not as good as we expected. But, anybody in that range can bust for you. There are busts at running back and busts at wide receiver in that range too. So if I can still get the quarterback 8 as Jalen Hurts is at the moment in points per game, versus Chase Brown in the same range, I still feel pretty good about that high-level quarterback.
Bucky Irving hurt. A lot of those receivers, T. Higgins, a lot of those receivers really not doing much. Right. And similar to tight end, you've got the quarterbacks in the middle. May and Prescott. And maybe even Jordan Love gets to this point. Justin Fields has easily been this so far. Waiting on quarterback has, I think, on balance, worked out too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice to see that work. That's been similar to tight end, where there's not as long a record of it, but it really seems right now like you either target one of those top 3, top 4, and we'll see exactly what the group looks like for next year. But this year, it seemed like you target one of those guys or you wait a while and then maybe grab 2 of them just in case the first one you took is not the guy that's breaking out this year.
Matt, I'll bet when we spoke with you last, we talked a lot about James Cook and touchdown regression and his future, which became present-day contract extension finally just before the season began. 5 touchdowns through 5 games, got shut out last week, so his consecutive games with a rushing touchdown streak ended against New England, but still 5 touchdowns already. Are you betting he gets near that total from last year now?
Yeah, can somebody please tell him that he's not supposed to be scoring fantasy points at this rate with the number of touches that he gets? Because I don't think he gets it. Yeah, it would be stupid to not bet on him staying hot in the touchdown area. It's like Baker Mayfield. You go by the numbers. You say this shouldn't be happening, but football is a game of small samples, and sometimes it just does keep happening. And the thing that's different for him is he is in this environment where everybody has to worry about what the quarterback's going to do. So they pay a little bit less attention to James Cook, and they've got an OC who really wants to run the ball. So there's support for that. So I'm done loudly betting against James Cook. We'll see what I do with my drafting next summer.
I think I know. As someone likewise, I think I know what I'll be doing, which is like fading him again. And I did that with Derrick Henry. And this is like the 6th year in a row that I faded Derrick Henry, and I'm not exactly walking around with my chest pumped out or anything like that.
But maybe you got it.
Maybe I got one. Finally, eventually, I'm going to be right. Eventually, I'm going to be
early.
Never wrong, just early. Well, the rookie running backs are a big story this year, and in kind with the Henry point, although there isn't a rookie pushing him out the door in Baltimore exactly, but still, this year. A lot of these guys, in a year where the talent was supposed to be so rich in the draft, it looks like it. I mean, Judkins. How about Scadaboo last night? I mean, Krosky Merritt in Washington coming off a 100-yard week. I think it kind of feels like, in general at least, Matt, this year, if you made that bet on rookie running backs, you're looking pretty good, mostly.
Yeah, and this looked like a good class of running backs. I know my colleague Shane, who does our prospect stuff, was big on the running backs. We were a little surprised that guys didn't go a little earlier, but maybe it's because the NFL saw this, I don't know, kind of backloaded where you could get Scadaboo in round 4. Like Bashal Tutin hasn't really popped for Jacksonville yet, but shows some talent, also available on day 3. So it was an interesting group. I'm glad we got Quinshon Judkins back on the field. I obviously have no idea any of the specifics of his story. But I'm glad that he's playing football now because that's been a positive development. It's too bad that we don't get to see what Omarion Hampton could do with control of that backfield over the next few weeks. But, yeah, this rookie class certainly seems to be paying off and doesn't look like it's full of mirages at the moment.
Do you have a take on Travion Henderson in this? I mean, that has not really popped yet. Stevenson is getting, he's rushing touchdowns even though he's fumbling. Does Henderson look good? Does he seem like somebody that will get there this year, or maybe not?
I would say he'll probably get there eventually. One of the things that the guys and I were discussing behind the scenes at DS this week is these reports or rumors or whatever about maybe Travion Henderson doesn't know the playbook well enough yet. Maybe that's a key issue for him. I wonder how much you have to know the playbook as a running back. I know it's one of the easier positions to play without, having all of these different responsibilities to take care of. So I think at some point the talent's going to shine through. I don't know for sure if it's going to be this season, but he is an interesting player to try to stash deep on your roster if you have bench spots to play with, if you can get him real cheap. Because, he's a talented runner, and we could just be an injury to Stevenson away from, New England just having to give Henderson the ball and then that finally showing through for us. Until then, Patriots don't really need to force him if they don't think he's quite ready.
How about this week, Matt, the Chargers running back situation with no Hampton, of course, already no Najee Harris. It's Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal. Both have been their second-year running backs. It doesn't seem like the market feels one is the clear-cut option. My guess is, I'm just sort of echoing what I've heard, I have to admit, that Haskins probably starts and gets goal line and Vidal is passing down. You mentioned Jared. I think he likes Vidal. No, he likes Haskins more, actually. I'm not sure. Yeah. I hear, pretty much equal both guys. What do you think happens? Good matchup.
I wish that they were not playing Miami because I would love to not care at all about this backfield this week because I don't think either one is a good bet. But you're right. Jared prefers Haskins. I'm going Vidal because I think that he's the higher upside athlete. I don't think either guy is going to end up getting the kind of backfield share that Michael Carter got for Arizona last week. So I think that makes either one a shaky bet. I think that what we've seen from Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal in the pros so far, and they've both been Chargers the past 2 years with Jim Harbaugh there, I think Haskins is like the security blanket for Harbaugh. He knows him since Michigan. So he's the guy that's been the third on the roster on game days. In case there's an in-game emergency, he knows he can trust this guy that he's had with him for years. Vidal's the guy with some talent, but something that has made him not ready and kept him on the practice squad last year and then up until the past couple of games. But I think that he's the higher-level athlete and has a little more juice to his game, had 92 career catches in college. So if I have to choose between them, that's the way I'm going. But it could go either way, and I would bet that they kind of rotate and then, see who maybe gets hot in that game and then lean more toward that player.
Okay. If you have time for one more, I'm curious what you think about Green Bay receivers with Christian Watson eventually coming back. I don't think this week,
no,
but
he's not
next
going to
week.
play this week, but yeah.
Okay, good. And Matthew Golden hasn't really popped yet. That team has scored a lot, is winning. Reed is still out. Is there anybody? Are you ready for Golden? Like, you want to make that bet, or are you more cautious?
I'm willing to make cautious bets on him because Matthew Golden's playing time went up a couple weeks ago, then it came back down a little bit where he was right behind Dontavian Wicks in week 4. I think he's the one that has the best chance to pop to really make a difference over a longer term. But they've also always liked Romeo Doubs. He's been getting talked up ever since the team drafted him. So I don't think he's going to go away. I think he'll keep leading the team in playing time at that position. And eventually Christian Watson's going to complicate it further, but it seems like they want to keep Golden on the field. They drafted him in the first round, which is abnormal for the Packers. So I think, a modest bet, we have both of those guys in low wide receiver 3 range this week. And I also think a key component here is Green Bay likes to lean run. They want to be balanced in terms of, lower pass rate, higher rushing rate. So I think that's going to limit the volume for everybody. They play Cincinnati this week, so I don't think anybody's in for huge target volume in that game. But I'm okay with both Dobbs and Golden. Longer term, I would bet Golden as the top scorer from week 6 to the end of the season.
Like it. Jacobs minus 230. Josh Jacobs minus 235 to score a touchdown this week as a 2-touchdown favorite. Jonathan Taylor is the only number longer than that, minus 245. Matt, you sound great. Thanks for your time. And if Jared gives you any trouble, knowing that you said you're in the main event, about how well our team, he and I, are doing, just let me know. I'll put a stop to it.
Will do. Thank you, Mike.
All right. Matt Schauf at Draft Sharks in Rochester. Yes, Bulldog, you were just about to ask, how well is that team doing? I haven't had an update in a while. I've been sick. Pretty well.
I'm glad to hear it. That pass is even slightly sincere? No, right?
What?
Sorry. No, me. My response was just
glad to hear it?
Yeah. Glad to hear it. Was AI occupied my body just now and spit that out. Keep the conversation moving.
I'll take it. I forced the issue by just staying quiet. So you felt like you had to say something.
I am glad to hear it, Mike.
Football Friday on WGR. It's time for a break. We'll be back in a snap, brought to you by Snapdragon Apples, the official apple of the Buffalo Bills.
4 players officially missed practice today for the Buffalo Bills: Matt Milano, TJ Sanders, DeMar Hamlin, and Curtis Samuel. And on Hamlin and Samuel, they were limited yesterday, a downgrade to not practicing today. Then just 2 players were limited, those being Dalton Kincaid and Ed Oliver. Then following practice, Oliver said to the media that he believed he was ready for Monday. We'll see if that is true at the latest on Monday, but game designations will be out tomorrow afternoon. And do stay tuned, Sal Capaccio is going to join the show this afternoon at 5 p.m. The Barnes Firm Injury Report. It is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-MILLION. Some other notes around the NFL. Raiders tight end Brock Bowers is out this weekend versus Tennessee. The Lions have ruled out 4 players versus the Chiefs, including cornerback Teron Arnold. Chiefs wide receiver, though, Xavier Worthy, is good to go for that game. The same cannot be said for Washington wide receiver Terry McLaurin. He is out versus Chicago. And then Lamar Jackson out again, this time against the Rams. Cooper Rush, again, will get the start at quarterback. For the Sabres, they are off to Boston for their game tomorrow night. Zach Benson and Josh Norris both not making the trip. Norris is still being evaluated following an injury he suffered late last night. Owen Power, though, is making the trip. He could potentially play, this according to head coach Lindy Ruff. And then with all that, the team has called up forward Josh Dunn. No games, though, tonight in the NHL. It is a full slate, though, tomorrow afternoon. Then in baseball, just one game this evening. The winner advances to take on the Blue Jays in the ALCS. It's Mariners hosting the Tigers. First pitch just after 8 o'clock, and Skubal and Kirby are on the bump. It's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Feel good. Feel a lot better than last week, a lot more confident. I'm ready. And I'm still not where I need to be, but I'm a lot better than last week. So it's promising signs, to go back out there and, do my thing.
Ed Oliver, he's missed 4 games. Maybe that'll be it. Monday night, Bills at Falcons, 7:15 kickoff, ESPN. And whoever has it locally, 7?
I would imagine that would be the case, but I don't know for sure. But I would think, yeah.
ABC has the Chicago-Washington game. That's Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and that starts at 8:15. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here.
Maybe that would make it hard for ABC then locally to carry the Bills game.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what happens there.
I don't know channels anymore.
I don't know what happens.
Here's what happens. I turn my I'll keep this short because how old am I? But I turn my TV on, and it gives me a row of what they think I want, and it's mostly like news shows. And as advanced as technology can seem, I've never once watched a news show. Like Sunday mornings, I turn on the TV. I might want I certainly will want the game if there's a game in London or something, or I'm going to want Fantasy Focus, or I'm going to want something akin to this, but the first thing is it's a CBS morning news.
If you're talking about the app that I think you're talking about, this is my least favorite feature about them, because I've had YouTube TV at alternate times here because of hockey stuff, and I watched that app 3 times, and then if I go back to it, everything the channels that I watch are the ones that are presented there as soon as the home screen opens. Like, oh, welcome back, Chris. We missed you. Here's the stuff you like to watch.
Yes.
This thing I've had since in the summer of the pandemic, like summer of 20, is when I made the switch to this streamer that I think you're describing. They never have what I want to watch. The things I go there to watch the Sabres. I go there to watch ESPN, and then Pittsburgh or Cleveland baseball or the Yankees. Like, those are the 5 things.
Soccer.
Soccer.
But soccer, you have to go so far down the list to find the soccer game.
It's like I don't exist. Okay, everything's supposed to be so smart, right?
I know.
mean, my phone knows I'm talking about golf stuff, so here's some golf stuff, right? This app is the most backwards app ever. Like, I have to go looking all the time for the channels that I watch all the time, which is weird.
But I don't want to complain about it from both directions.
Right, because
I don't want them to know too much.
Right, I know.
But, like you turn on the TV and the first box is Fox and Friends. I'm not sure I'd watch Fox and Friends if they were doing a 10-minute feature on my son. Like I've never. And then when you click those boxes by mistake, it's the worst. Oh no! I've just contributed to the machine. I hate myself. Now I'm on the list. I don't want to be on the list. I just want to find Leicester City.
I don't want.
Where is Leicester City versus Fulham?
We don't want the technology to know what we're doing until we want them to know what we're doing when it's convenient for us.
Now I've just said these things out loud.
This is the one area that consistently lets me down in that whole realm because I understand all the other stuff. Right? I clicked on a Callaway golf ball sale on Facebook. Now I'm getting golf. Okay, I know. Okay, got it. Guilty. This app, could you just please once present me some semblance of the kind of content? Even if it's, give me cricket matches. Give me something where people are holding implements and using them to strike balls. That's all I'm looking for.
Careful.
Yeah. And instead, no. It's always just like, oh, here's some billiards or something.
Love billiards.
What are you doing?
But I just don't want it to be news talk.
Right. It's just terrible. It's a terrible.
I'll take billiards.
What is it? Is that called the interface? Whatever. How you use the app is terrible. It's the worst app I've ever used. Consistently.
That's how this ends.
It's the worst.
It's the all-time worst.
It's the all-time worst.
I didn't really mean to go there.
I am literally being held hostage by MSG being on that app. Because I hate using it so much because this really literally happens every time I turn it on. And the only reason I have this is because of MSG being there for the Sabres. And I know the Gotham app or whatever, but I'm not...
The Gotham app. Can we just get the check when it becomes about the Gotham app?
It's really frustrating. Yeah,
Can
right?
we please, how many years of a playoff drought do we need to just be able to cut the cord, so to speak? It's the Gotham app. I'm going to get Brooklyn Nets propaganda. I'm trying to watch the Sabres lose 4-0. Did you hear that? Did you hear that what Paul said yesterday on pregame?
I did not.
So we had a nice long chat. It's the season opener. And, something like getting off to a good start. He's like, sure. Just don't come out here and lose 4-0.
Oh, no. Good one, Paul.
Nailed it.
Right.
I mean, empty net goals, but still, they did lose 4-0.
Yeah, they did.
And they might have lost Norris for a while. Wouldn't you know it? I don't think they played badly.
I don't either. I think they played. I mean, I know it was boring, but that's the idea. They're trying to play boring. They're trying to play low event, boring hockey, and hoping that an improved power play. And there's the game. They had 3 power plays in a row in the second period. And, they got a couple looks on the second and third one. The first one was a complete wash. And there's your hockey game. Like, you want to play that way. They didn't give up maybe, I think, fewer than a half a dozen really good scoring opportunities. They probably had fewer than that themselves.
Yeah.
That's some version of harder to play against. Like, I think the game went mostly the way they'd like the game to go, but they didn't score.
You know what phrase I think you're going to hear a lot this year if it does transcend to hockey? Because I am hearing this term all the time now. I don't think I've ever used it. Have you ever used the term rock fight?
No.
Like, it seems I'm hearing this now every day. A low-scoring, dull game is a rock fight. So get ready for 55 of those. 55 rock fights. I wonder if we'll start to hear Sabres games. I mean, maybe this is a good thing if we do, because they're going to be close.
Right.
Rock fights.
I'm familiar with the phrasing. I've just never used it.
Never used it.
I'm not. Yeah, so I'm not here to tell you that it's being misappropriated. I don't really know. That's fine.
I don't hate it.
Yeah,
I just don't want to say whatever everybody else is saying.
Right.
So if everybody's going to say rock fight for every close sporting event, got to make sure not to. That's kind of how that is, I think.
I feel like rock fight is a hard, tough match.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was last night either. It was just low event is what last night was. There was just nothing going on, despite the Sabres dressing their tough guy and Matt Rempe, the mighty Matt Rempe, being in the lineup for the Rangers. Anyway.
Why are we doing that?
Because he's a folk hero in New York, and so he's dressing, and teams are like going, I guess we got to have a deterrent to Matt Rempe, rather than just ignoring him.
Yeah, let's do that.
Like the Penguins did on opening night and won 3-0. I got to have a guy, I guess. So we're among the teams that have a guy.
Great. That'll get me in there.
Oh, yes.
That's embarrassing.
I didn't see. Did the Rangers even get a power play last night? Yeah, they did. I don't know if it got
early
extended far enough in, but on opening night, Rempe saw power play time for the New York Rangers.
They had one pretty early.
Yeah,
I think the first penalty might have been on
I think
Buffalo.
That might be right. Anyway, Matt Rempe effect. There's a Rempe effect in the league.
No, that's a choice.
Yes, it is. Anyway, well, too bad.
How did the game do ratings-wise in New York with the Giants playing? The Giants game was... what do you think of Daboll right now? So, I defended him here. I always thought it was right to. I mean, there was stuff that was said within the organization, outside the organization. Like, Daboll, he kind of made a scene here. Mm-hmm. But... the Bills' offense took off, and he was the offensive coordinator, and I'll sign for that. Like, I respected him as a coach. Since he's gotten to the Giants, I feel like all he's doing is kind of yelling at people and losing. They feel like he's kind of just on thin ice there all the time. Even with Tyrod. Like, Tyrod goes in for, actually for who? The game they played here. Who was that? Wilson? No. Who was injured when Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones.
Okay. So Tyrod gets the game here, and there's that thing at the end of the half, and Daboll's just screaming at him. We just had this with the Arizona guy who took it up a level.
Yeah.
Come on, grow up. I kind of want to say whenever I watch Daboll.
The scene with the doctor yesterday was...
What's that?
Not...
He just busts into the blue tent?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be able to do that.
No.
And so, today I read the Giants are going to be in trouble. Explain what kind of trouble they're in. What's that going to be?
I don't know, but the ownership issued a statement about it. I saw that already this afternoon, I think, since we started.
Saying what?
We recognize it was inappropriate or something. Like, they're apologizing. And I guess Daboll tried to walk it back today already, too, although I haven't seen quotes from him.
I believe it.
Yeah, it was a terrible look. Like, he looked like he was yelling at the doctor. Like, get my guy back out here is what that looked like.
Who works for whom in that? Like, what does independent neurologist mean? Like, who works for whom? You can't tell... Can anybody from the league tell him how it works? No? Like, he's just above everybody? I mean, I like that they won. They look like they could be fun. And as you said earlier, very profoundly, the Giants have literally never been fun.
Right.
So maybe they'll be fun. The running back seems like kind of a hit, and the quarterback could be, I think it'll be up and down, but great night for him.
Daboll.
I don't like the Eagles.
I think he mostly handles himself in a way that will make it. Look, when the time comes for a guy to lose that job, they're going to lose that job. But the way he handles himself makes it a little easier, I think. Like, if you want to make a move on a guy, like you're like, if it's close, you'll be like, yeah, let's take him out back. Just because he's abrasive, and abrasive people, you will rid yourself of them sooner. And that's how he is. I could see him. I think he rubbed people here the wrong way, and I'm sure he's rubbing people there the wrong way. And it's the Giants too. We've talked about this a few different times. Like, that's a pretty conservative, close to the vest, buttoned up. I mean, the Maras. It's as conservative as American football, I think, gets ownership wise. And he's just a different. He's just a different dude, man.
Might want to ask Sal about him. We've got other things to talk about with Sal, injury updates and that. He'll join us at 5. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, Football Friday on WGR. Look, this won't be hard. Just search it. Just like, hello, phone, where is Mighty Ducks Game Changers? Like Disney Plus. Great. Look how easy that was. Go to Disney Plus, not there. Only the trailer.
Oh, boy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All the other Mighty Ducks things are there. The show has never sounded older.
Yeah,
The show has
I know.
The best. Now I'm going to get defensive. Just point out that my daughter is 13. All right. I mean, I can't be that old if I'm not Larry King. Now the show really sounds old. Who's that? Seattle. Has the show ever sounded older? Seattle in the NBA Finals.
F-.
I like this point. F- to me seems like just like a cartoon.
Right.
Not a real.
Yeah,
F is the lowest.
Yeah, it was like Bugs Bunny the teacher. Like what are we doing here?
F-.
The show ever sounded older.
The Bengals food.
See, kids, Bugs Bunny was a cartoon character. I did see the Scouts play in Buffalo. Yeah, I saw a Kansas City Scouts game. As the show ever sounded older.
Well, I'm going to be mad about this, but I'm not going to sacrifice my jersey number for it. Matthew Golden, that's taking it pretty seriously. So I went through thinking about numbers.
I think I like 22 on a wide receiver.
Bob Hayes.
Yeah, works.
Hey, can you think of another one?
No. That's why I like it.
Has the show ever sounded older?
To me, 22 doesn't strike me. Well, I mean, certainly Bob Hayes. It does not strike me as a slow number. It's one of the. He was like an Olympic 100-yard dash champion.
That was his brand.
Has the show ever sounded older?
I think. And that because 24 and 16, 192. The show has never sounded older than that as a pitching stat line for a season. 24 and 16,
right.
192, 41 starts, 20
40 decisions.
40 decisions, 29 complete games. How many leads the league now? 5?
3? 5? Yeah, I don't know. It's so rare.
Just go to look, this won't be hard. Just search it. Just like, hello, phone, where is Mighty Ducks Game Changers? Like Disney Plus. Great. Look how easy that is. Parker. The throw, if you don't know it, 79 All-Star game. The throw from right field in the Kingdome. The Kingdome is the show ever sounded older than the Kingdome reference. Bowling math, like front to back bowling math.
No, never.
Did you ever have to write it down?
Yes.
And figure out the math with a pencil?
Yes.
The show has never sounded older.
Yes.
It's about to sound older when I get to the next thing.
I think I knew how to do that at one time in my life, but I have long forgotten.
Hear me sing the Mary Tyler Moore Show theme today. But I did do that.
Right.
As the pre-show ever sounded older.
I dropped a little nugget on Mike that I found very interesting. Yesterday, a gentleman by the name of Sonny Curtis passed away. And it's not a name that I was really familiar with at all, but I'm a huge Clash fan. And this is the man who wrote the song I Fought the Law, which is a very famous song that was originally made famous by a band called the Bobby Fuller Four. That's all I ever knew about it, other than that the Clash covered it then in the 70s, is that the Bobby Fuller Four recorded and made famous I Fought the Law. I never knew who the songwriter was. It turns out it was this man, Sonny Curtis, who was an original member of Buddy Holly and the Crickets. Like, so original that before Buddy Holly got famous, he was one of Buddy's sidemen, but had left by the time they became famous and when Buddy Holly passed away. Anyway, Sonny Curtis, in addition to having this tangential relationship to The Clash, my favorite band of all time, also wrote the Mary Tyler Moore theme song and sang it. Like on the like that was him singing that song on the show. All those, it's like one of the, well, I mean, has the show ever sounded older? It's the Mary Tyler Moore show. It's one of my favorite TV show theme songs ever. And the same guy who wrote this legendary song, I Fought the Law, also wrote this legendary TV theme. And I had no idea. Sonny Curtis passed away at 88.
It's amazing.
Yesterday. Yeah, I thought so.
Hi, we were just talking. Sorry. It was rude. LeBron having sciatica is a little bit funny. He is going to miss the first 3 to 4 weeks of the season. I had that.
I remember.
He's do you?
I remember you having sciatica.
Really?
Yes.
It's a long time ago.
It is, but I remember it. I don't know why, but I remember it.
I don't either. It's probably like 2010. And I remember one night in bed, like I couldn't move. You get to a point where like I just couldn't move. And my wife had just had enough of hearing me complain about it. She's like, "What are you going to do about it?" This is always her complaint. It's righteous. It's fair. Because I don't do anything about anything. She's like, "What are you going to do about it?" I'm like, I don't know, nothing. He's like, well, I'm not just going to lie here next to you listening to you in pain. Like, just, we're going to the hospital.
Do something. Yeah.
So she took me to the hospital, like that night, whatever, 1 a.m, whatever it was. And you go in, and I got a shot and like a prostate exam. They check you.
Okay.
But like just sort of, you get a shot to break the pain cycle. And that was the end of it.
You never had it back?
Nope. I was great immediately. Wow. I was fine immediately.
Good.
LeBron needs a month?
Good call. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you had mild.
I don't know. I'm probably missing something here with this story, but
mild to moderate.
Not being a finely tuned, amazing athlete, I didn't need a day. Like, I was good the next day. Right. I just had this sciatica and went in.
I wonder just like how crumbled up all our stuff is to the point where, like, when like something's bothering us, we don't even know it anymore. Like, I've added a new element to I've been doing push-ups for a while, although the summer can be tough for me. I just don't do it I'm golfing more, so I don't exercise as regularly. But anyway, I do these bird dogs. You know what a bird dog is? Where you're down on all fours and you alternate like left leg extended, right arm extended, and you do that alternatingly. When I do left leg, right arm, it feels like my left leg is sticking out at like a 90-degree angle. It does not feel at all like I can do the same thing with my left leg as I can with my right. And just
I get that.
Stuff just must be so gnarled up in there. We're like, oh, I feel great. I'm playing golf. But I bet inside there it's just like a mess.
Maybe, yeah. You're 60.
Right.
You should be.
You could be forgiven.
There's
a lot of wear and tear in there.
Whatever this is. We'll talk to Sal about the Bills-Falcons game, how the injuries look for Monday night, and also other NFL matters. Only 2 teams on bye this week, and you've got a Sunday morning game, Broncos-Jets. That'll be interesting enough if the Jets can make it a game on Sunday morning. So we'll look around the NFL a bit with Sal coming up next. Picks still to come as well. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, Football Friday on WGR.
The official injury report is out for the Bills. 4 players missed practice today. Matt Milano, TJ Sanders, DeMar Hamlin, and Curtis Samuel. For Hamlin and Samuel, it is a downgrade from yesterday where they were limited. Then just 2 players were limited today, those being Dalton Kincaid and Ed Oliver. And then following practice, Oliver said to the media that he felt he was ready for Monday. We'll see if this is true at the latest on Monday, but game day designations are going to be out tomorrow. Stay tuned. Sal Capaccio does join the show next. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help? Call 1-800-8-MILLION. Around the NFL, Raiders tight end Brock Bowers out this weekend versus Tennessee. The Lions have ruled out 4 players versus the Chiefs. That does include cornerback Teron Arnold. Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy, though, is going to be good to go for that game. Same cannot be said for Washington wide receiver Terry McLaurin. He is out as they take on Chicago. And then Lamar Jackson out versus the Rams. Cooper Rush is going to get the start at quarterback. For the Sabres, they are off to Boston for their game tomorrow night. Zach Benson and Josh Norris both not making the trip. Norris still being evaluated following an injury he suffered last night. Owen Power, though, is making the trip. He could potentially play. This according to head coach Lindy Ruff. And with all of this, the team has called up forward Josh Dunn. And then in the NHL, no games tonight, though they do have a full slate starting tomorrow afternoon. Then in baseball, just 1 game, and the winner advances to take on the Blue Jays in the ALCS. Mariners hosting the Tigers. First pitch just after 8. Skubal and Kirby are on the bump. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Welcome back, Football Friday. The Bills don't play until Monday night, so Sunday is all yours to click around, go pick some apples, jump in the river, which is still plenty warm, and the days are beautiful. So many options. I mean, I say all this. I know if it were up to me, what I'd be doing the whole day, just sitting there.
Weather permitting, I'm going to play golf in the morning and skip
good.
the Jets and Broncos. But the rest of it, 1 o'clock on, I'll be saddled up.
The aforementioned Jets-Broncos game, we'll revisit that when we get to picks.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. Sorry that we couldn't keep our tight end streak alive last night. You weren't here to collaborate. That's my excuse.
So, of course, I bet on it anyway because I saw you tweet about Bellinger. Yeah, I thought, I got to get in on this.
It didn't really come close to happening. The guy that it did come close to happening for was Lil Jordan Humphrey, who's not little or Lil at all.
I learned this yesterday.
He was an end zone target at least once, maybe twice in the game, but I never really felt like we got it. Theo Johnson got a look. We didn't go there. Joining us now on the West Her Hotline is Sal Capaccio. It was an interesting game, by the way, if we can't start there, with the Giants taking it to Philadelphia and Brian Dable busting into the blue tent. I don't think you're supposed to be able to do that. Are the Eagles bad? Are the Giants not bad? Sal, where are you on Philadelphia at this point? They have problems, I think.
They do. It's funny. I was watching the game thinking kind of that with the Bills, which is we watch the Bills and you're like, oh my God, they have this problem or that problem, and those things are real. But I say it all the time. You guys know this. You got to look around the league. No team is perfect. Every team has warts. And now suddenly, the Eagles can't run the football. I mean, Saquon Barkley had a historic season last year. They can't run the football. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. It's a good question. It seems like there's internal drama there, and maybe that's causing some things. But they've had that a little bit over the years, right? I mean, I don't know. It's so offensive line. I mean, they've had a couple guys banged up, but it's kind of really weird over there right now.
Yeah, it's vibes-wise, it's like the Giants are just going up, and the Eagles are, if they're not moving completely down, they're at best moving laterally. They're just, did we have a come-to-Jesus meeting or not? They can't even, A.J. Brown doesn't even want to cop to that. It seems like everything just seems weird there.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Look, there's a lot of season left for all these teams, and you go through these ups and downs and lulls, and you try to fix them. But I would be really. Boy, I was thinking about today. If you're in WIP in Philly, our sister station.
Oh.
Did you see the stat that
Yes.
Sneaky Joe tweeted earlier today? It was wild. Now, I don't know who keeps track of this, but you can always find something, right? The only time, it's only been twice, that a city's sports teams lost in the NHL, the NFL, and were eliminated in baseball on the same day. Philly yesterday, and then Philly in 1983, which is crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy. We were talking about Dayball a little bit earlier in here, Sal, and the thing with the tent. I mean, they're winning. Maybe they found a quarterback, and like that probably cures all. But again, I'm thinking back to Hard Knocks 2 summers ago and how Dayball might have come off there. And I've thought all along, like, I don't know, like ownership there is very conservative and they may not love his style. And I'll bet they're pretty embarrassed that they had to issue a statement today apologizing for their coach appearing to be yelling at the doctors.
Yeah, you can't do that. It's not a good look at all. Thank goodness for him they won the game. Obviously probably cures a little bit of that or softens the blow, but
right.
Yeah, you can't have that, no doubt. And we already know after just kind of last year and hearing Mara at the end of the year talk about the team, and they don't rush to make changes. They've made some over the last few years in New York. They don't want to do that. But yeah, you're right about that. I don't think that's a good look for them, and I'm sure that it's not something that they want to see a repeat of. Brian is a very emotional guy. He's really emotional, and I think that's what allows him to really connect with a lot of players, to be honest with you, right? Like when he's here, Sean McDermott is that stoic coach. We know that. Brian Daboll has he's known to have these relationships with Josh and these other players because he's a very emotional guy. But sometimes that emotion can get the better of you, and it can manifest itself in a bad way. And it didn't hurt them last night in the game necessarily, but it can. I mean, look at, again, Jonathan Gannon, what happened this past week, we talked about yesterday, Mike, right? Like you have to, your job as a leader on the sidelines is to kind of be the person in control. And if you're not in control, your team's not going to be in control. They won last night, but those are things that can, kind of go awry for you sometimes.
They play again in 2 weeks.
They do. I know. I saw that.
The Eagles go to Minnesota next, and then the Giants again in Philadelphia. Like I think Barkley's probably hurt if he's not just sort of worn out. The quarterback, there's a lot to like about him, Hurts. But when you need a pass on the dot in the big spot, not always do you get it. I mean, that long one to Devontae Smith that he missed last night really was costly with his being as open as he was. Anyway, so enough about Philadelphia. Bills and Falcons on Monday night. It's still a few days away. Do you feel, we talked yesterday and Wednesday, Sal, do you feel like you've got a better handle on Atlanta than before? Like, what do you have on Atlanta as we go into the weekend?
I still am kind of wondering who they are. To me, this game is more about, like, for the Bills, I know it sounds funny and cliche, it's more about getting back to who they are. Right? I just keep thinking of the quote that Sean McDermott said last week after the game. He said, "We played the game they wanted us to play." Right? Like he made sure to say that. And I asked him on our radio program today, what does playing your game look like? Right? And I think he mentioned, just the normal stuff, fundamentals and taking care of the football. Right? That's right. But I just think it goes deeper than that. He's not going to say. He's not going to say, well, the Patriots really just tried to play a messy game, and we got messy with them. And they don't want to do that. The Bills want to play clean football. They don't want, the penalties. Every team will say, no penalties, no turnovers. But the Bills don't want to get caught up in that stuff. They want to get caught. They want to play a certain style and brand. And yes, the Falcons are sitting there with these great elite players at running back and tight end and wide receiver. There's no doubt. And the Bills have to have a game plan. But I actually think this is the kind of game where, because of last week and how it went, this is a game where the Bills need to focus on themselves. They need to get back to what they do best, and that is on offense, taking care of the football. And on defense, I do think, though, because they have a second-year quarterback who has only had a handful of starts in this league, I expect the Bills to really play some games with him and really not allow him to trust what he's seeing, force him into mistakes. This is not the most mobile of quarterbacks, right? They played some mobile guys. They made Tua look a little more mobile than he is. But getting Ed Oliver back, guys, if you can get penetration up the middle, I think that would be a really big help here, because then you get Penix off his spot and can force him into a mistake.
And do you feel somewhat, I know you don't like to guess about a guy, whether he's going to be active, especially a guy that's missed now 4 games in a row, hasn't played since opening day, Oliver. But, I mean, he and guys always say, I'll be ready, I'll be ready.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you want to kind of take his word for it? I mean, I think they could certainly use him. There's no doubt about that.
I do, just from kind of, the way he's talking, what came out of practice today and after practice, and him talking about how he feels much better than last week. Still not 100%, but he feels much better. And, the pain threshold and different things he can do better. The fact that he's been a limited participant for 2 weeks in a row now at practice getting ready here. I feel like we get the inactives at 5:45 p.m. on Monday night. That Ed Oliver will be not on the inactive list.
Yeah.
But I don't know that. We could get to then and they say,
Right.
we're going to hold him one more week because then you get another 2 weeks because you have the bye week coming up. But it feels like it's kind of trending in that direction.
One of the big keys, I think, certainly has been talked about since the Bills lost on Sunday night to New England, was New England's ability to stop their running game and maybe really got the Bills out of their comfort zone, right? Maybe that's part of what when McDermott said after the game, we were too cute at times, and however you were phrasing their approach looking at this game, right? Of course, it's got to work, but man, if I could bet on snap shares, I would bet on a season high for Jackson Hawes and the 3 tight end thing. And I just feel like, and I don't know, you can tell me if Atlanta is, maybe it doesn't matter, right? If they're susceptible to that or not, or they're really strong at it, either way, I just feel like the Bills, that has been, through the early part of this season, a key element of their offensive identity. And it got away from them last week, even though the game was close all the way. Man, I would expect to see a ton of that on Sunday.
Yeah, now the Falcons were actually very good stopping the run last week, only 3.5 yards a carry. The 2 games previous to that, Carolina and Minnesota both ran for over 5.5 yards a carry against them. I think there's opportunity to run on this defense. They want to get after it. They want to penetrate. They want to rush the passer. When you rush the passer like that and you bring heat, which I think that's kind of their DNA. It's what they're going to do. I think that allows you to have some lanes. It allows you to use that against them a little bit sometimes. And I think the Bills are going to want to do that. I think the Bills are going to want to run the ball. Yes, you're right, Bulldog. Like they struggled to run the ball last week against the Patriots. Although I just don't think there's, a lot of shame in doing that against the Patriots specifically because they're very good, and they actually ran for more. 4.1 is not a lot, but that's more than the Patriots normally give up anyway. That's normally in the high 3s per carry, and some of that was Josh Allen. So the numbers, it wasn't the running backs. They took care of the running backs. The Patriots did. They did a very nice job. I think you're facing a different defense this week. I think you're facing a defense that wants to play high volume, high action, get after the quarterback, and that allows big plays to be made. And I think this to me sounds like a game that feels like after last week and what you're facing this week, I think you're going to see a lot of James Cook, and I agree with you, probably a lot of 13 personnel and saying we're going to come right at you. And if you want to play that style that come at us with the athletic front that's going to rush the passer, we're going to beat you up.
Yeah, I'm thinking back a few minutes ago where you were talking about like Sean McDermott getting a question about how they want to play or something, and he says the things you're expecting him to say. He would never say, Josh Allen just goes out and does amazing things, and that's all we need. That's it.
Right.
But this year really hasn't been that so much. I mean, they did lose Sunday night, but it's been more on James Cook's back so far. So do you sort of expect, maybe you just kind of said it, do you sort of expect the Bills to get back to that?
I do. I think this is a game that both teams are going to want to run the ball. It's funny, Mike, you say that because I literally, just before I came on with you, I was telling Zach this. I just did a radio spot for our sister station in Odyssey, the game in Atlanta, like a little while ago. And it's so funny, the perception, right? So one of the hosts says to me while I'm doing this, he says, boy, if the Falcons really shut down Josh Allen, do you think the Bills' running game is good enough to kind of carry them? And I'm like, guys, they run for 150 yards a game with James Cook. Like, the Bills want to run the ball. It's not just can the Bills' running game carry them. It's we want to run the ball against you. The Bills don't want to play a game where Josh Allen has to carry the load. They don't want to play a game where he has to be Superman. They want to come at you with James Cook. And guess what? If you shut it down, then they're going to have to put the ball in Josh's hands. They're very comfortable with that. They want to play a balanced game, right? But yeah, I that's still the perception of people around the league, which is, boy, you just stop the Bills. You stop Josh Allen, and the Bills can't run the ball. That's just not the case. And I think the Bills want to be true to their identity, and they have a very good offensive line. They are a very good run team, and I think they want to do that. And we've noted here how much James Cook has played more this year. He's been on the field more. He's come off a little bit. Last week he came off a little bit. He's going back to Georgia this week, guys, right? Where he played in college.
Oh.
He didn't have as big of an impact on the game last week. I think this is a James Cook type of game.
I love Bijan in this game, too, on the other side. Cook at one of the more popular betting apps, minus 170 to score a touchdown. That's pretty healthy. Bijan Robinson, minus 180. What does the Bills' defense have to do well in this game with the talent that the Falcons have? You already talked about Penix and trying to disrupt him a little bit, but I kind of think if he plays a safer game, I feel like they'll do all right with Robinson. Algier is a compliment. London is close to elite, I want to say. Pitts is talented. Doesn't sound like they'll have Mooney, but still, there are players there.
There are. I know, again, it's going to sound like one of those coach cliches. You know what they really need to do really well this game? They need to tackle. They got to tackle. I mean, Bijan Robinson is very tough to tackle, and the Bills have missed a lot of tackles this year. They have to make sure they're tackling and not putting the Falcons in 2nd and 2 and getting first downs when they could stop them, at a 2nd and 5 or make it a 3rd and 5. They have to tackle. They have to come up and tackle. They did not tackle well last week. They didn't tackle well. They've had an issue tackling all year, to be honest with you. And I think that's a really big key in this game. It feels like Darnell Mooney is not going to play, by the way. He did not practice again today for a second straight day. That could be a field stretcher. Now, Drake London is really, really good. That's not necessarily his game. He'll get down the field once in a while. So if you can kind of make sure that you – just like the Patriots though last week, I'm telling you, if the Bills tackle Stephon Diggs, it's a different game because the Patriots weren't throwing the ball downfield. They had a couple balls to Hunter Henry, but they did not have a threat to go downfield. You just have to tackle. And I think that's a really big key in this game. Just tackle and make sure that these guys don't get extra yards that you give them for free.
Sal, how close, if at all, are we to a practice squad call up at corner? Trey White had his share of struggles. I mean, some of that's on scramble drills, and you're asking a guy to cover somebody like Stephon Diggs for 5 or 6 seconds. I mean, good luck to anybody on that. But I think they themselves have demonstrated how they used Strong the week before he got hurt, as spelling White, that they were looking into like maybe a timeshare there. And I don't know, like Ingram is there still on the active roster. You've got Cam Lewis on the active roster. Dane Jackson is the guy I'm thinking of. Like, could we see something at corner? Has it gotten to that level yet?
I don't know if we're quite there, Bulldog. If anything, Jamarcus Ingram may be helping out, but I don't know what that looks like if they feel confident in that. Dane Jackson is a veteran, obviously, and the question would be, do you think you get more out of him than you'd get out of Tre'Davious White? Would that help taking Trey off the field a little bit and putting Dane Jackson on? Right now with Dorian Strong on IR, they only have 3 boundary corners, but they've only been going into games with 3 of them.
Right.
They just had Jamarcus Ingram inactive. So my assumption is you'll just have Ingram active again this week. You'll go into the game with 3 boundary corners. Cam Lewis isn't an option here. He's a nickel. He's a safety. So I don't know if they're that close to it right now. And the other thing is, let's remember, they have 1 week here, 1 game. Then you have a bye week. Then you have the Max Hairston, decision getting whether it's getting closer or not, I don't know. But, as we go down the road here, you might have a decision coming on Max Hairston. So feels to me like maybe this wouldn't be the week to do that. But certainly nothing's out of the question. The fact that, it feels like they're struggling on that spot, and maybe they might want to look at something different, at least get some eyes on something.
Is Kincaid fine? Good to go?
Feel like it. I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, red non-contact 2 days in a row, but he's been practicing. So, tomorrow we'll get official injury designations. It doesn't feel like it's anything that, to me, just kind of knowing how these things go, that would hold him out. All right. Roof is open, by the way. Did you guys see that?
Roof is open.
Yeah, I saw that. I found that out from you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Roof is open.
It's a fancy.
Last time we were there, the roof was closed, but I don't know if you guys remember. It was the second game ever played there. And they had this issue with the roof because it opens and closes like an eye. Like it's not like a normal roof, right? It's like a spaceship. And they had problems with the nuts and bolts that were falling. And they couldn't open it anyway because there was like some issue there. And you had to kind of make sure, okay, is everything okay? Then the Bills played the second ever regular season game there when they beat the Falcons in 2017.
And speaking of Trey White, didn't he have a pick in that game?
He had a fumble return.
Okay, that was it.
It was a very controversial play. If you go back and watch, you're still like, I don't know if that was a fumble. It was Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's like, what are you talking about? Like, how was that a fumble? But they called it a fumble on the field. They kept it. He scores. It's kind of earlier in the game. And Micah Hyde had a really great pick, and I think he had 2 in that game, actually.
That looks right. I'm looking at the box score. Easily the leading receiver in the game, Charles Clay, 5 for 112.
I remember Jordan Matthews scored in that game, didn't he?
Yep. Wonder how many games Charles Clay went over a buck. 5 for 112 for Clay. How big an upset would an Atlanta win be? Like, it's 4.5. The Bills have not covered, at least in these home games, having won 2 of the 3, then losing to the Patriots. Do you feel like just from if you take a step back and get a sense of, you were just on in Atlanta, maybe you got a sense from them. Would it be, how surprising would an Atlanta win be?
Yeah, the sense I get from Atlanta is they're kind of expecting, to be
to win.
Very competitive and maybe win this game, to be honest with you. Like, just kind of talking with their hosts, it feels like their vibes are good down there right now. And, they think that this Falcons team can – I think they even said something like when the schedule came out and everybody probably thought it was a loss, but look at the Falcons now, something like that. And I'm like, yeah, I think from an outsider's perspective, if I'm just watching the game and I'm in, Tampa or Seattle or something like that and I see it, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, the Falcons might be pretty good. I wouldn't think it's a huge upset, but I would expect the Bills to win still.
Charles Clay, 5 for 112 in the Bills' upset win in Atlanta in 2017. Kalen Clay, 2 targets, no receptions for the Bills in that same game. Got that one? Kalen Clay, Bulldog?
That's made up. It's not real.
Not made up.
It's not a real thing.
He did. He played for the Bills and the Panthers. Which, of course.
Oh, well, there you go. Now I know it's real.
Right.
That cinches it.
All right. Thank you, Sal. We'll talk on Monday.
All right, you got it, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right, safe travels. That's our Sal Capaccio on the Western Hotline. His appearances are always brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
No respect for Kalen Clay, former 6th-round pick of the Buccaneers.
It's not really. It doesn't have anything to do with respect. It's just recall. I just don't remember this person existing and playing on the Bills.
1 catch as a Bill. For 28 yards. I don't know the air yards. Should I? Do you want to know? Does anybody care? No, I don't think so. The Friday Drive at 5, brought to you, this is what you do care about, is brought to you by Northtown Hyundai, Western New York's premier Hyundai dealership. Shop online at northtownhyundai.com. By Northwest Bank for what's next. Get started at northwest.com. And by Excelsior Orthopedics Express, sidelined with a sprain, strain, or break. Get to Excelsior Orthopedics Express. We will drive around the league next in the form of picks. Why wait? Mine are done.
I did mine at 8:30 this morning.
Really?
Yep. When I remember, that's when I like to do them. First thing, coffee.
I don't have the standings anywhere.
I have both our records.
You do?
Well, wait. No, I don't know what you did last week, so I don't know.
I'll try to find out.
Yeah.
All right, well, stay tuned for that drama. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, Football Friday on WGR.
Matt Milano, TJ Sanders, DeMar Hamlin, and Curtis Samuel. For Hamlin and Samuel, it is a downgrade from yesterday when they were limited. Then, speaking of limited, just 2 players today, Dalton Kincaid and Ed Oliver. And for Oliver, following practice, he did say with the media that he believed he was ready for Monday. We'll see if that is true at the latest on Monday. But game designations, they will be out tomorrow. And the Barnes Firm Injury Report, it is brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help, call 1-800-8-MILLION. Around the league, Raiders tight end Brock Bowers out this weekend versus Tennessee. The 49ers, they have ruled out quarterback Brock Purdy and wide receiver Ricky Pearsall when they take on Tampa. Washington wide receiver Terry McLaurin is out against Chicago, and quarterback Lamar Jackson out versus the Rams. Cooper Rush will get the start at quarterback for Baltimore. For the Sabres, they are on the road heading out to Boston for their game tomorrow night. Zach Benson, Josh Norris, both not making the trip. Norris still being evaluated following an injury he suffered in last night's loss to the Rangers. Owen Power, though, is making the trip. He could potentially play. That according to head coach Lindy Ruff, and the team has also called up forward Josh Dunn. For the NHL, though, no games tonight. They do have a full slate, though, starting tomorrow afternoon. Then in baseball, just 1 game. The winner advances to take on the Blue Jays in the ALCS. It's Mariners hosting the Tigers. First pitch just after 8 o'clock. Skubal and Kirby on the bump. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
And what if I did do it? Even though I admit to nothing and never will. What does that make me? And I'm not here just defending myself, but all those pickers out there who've been caught. Each and every one of them. Who has to suffer the shame and humiliation because of people like you.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Are we not human? If we pick, do we not bleed?
On WGR.
I am not an animal.
Sports Radio 550.
Picks at 5:30. You never know.
This show likes to keep you on your toes.
You never know. Yeah. Every night with baseball, like you got to check to see when the games are because they're always moving. Tonight's 8 o'clock. Detroit at Seattle, Game 5 out there. Picks, so, man, I am so lucky hot on Thursdays. I feel like, strong like bull on Thursday nights. Just whatever.
Yep.
And I tweeted this last night.
Right, you're up 4.5 games here, and you might have head-to-head on me on the night game like 5 out of these 6 weeks so far.
I don't know if I've lost one. And it's last night's game when there are different kinds of these, right? If you especially if you bet seriously, which I don't, but if you do, or you just do it like this, games where you're so wrong, you don't lose sleep. You're just like, I was way off here. Mm-hmm. You have the bad beats where you should have won, but you lost. Even if not even just like by a point.
I lost 2 games last week by a half point each.
There's those, and then there's the ones where you sort of get robbed. Like you have it. Mm-hmm. Minnesota, Cleveland. Was that one of them? Maybe that was one of these examples last week.
That was. The Rams covering against the Colts 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you had the Colts and the points there, you got robbed.
You should have been right.
That was an 88-yard touchdown in the last 2 minutes or whatever it was. Like, get out of here. Right.
And then there are games, this is how I felt about last night's game, where I'm watching it going, how did I not just bet everything in my possession on the Giants here? Like, just I loved it, but I'm always sort of in my own head. And you would be too, probably. Like, you know what you don't know, and you're never really that confident. But, man, like, I just knew it. I thought Philly was bad. I bet Dallas to win the division. I loved Denver last week and then the Giants last night. And I don't know, maybe, well, I'll do the same dance next week. Either get in my own head and turn back around or, barrel on.
I think I never keep track of the Thursday picks. And I don't keep track of your picks. So thanks to G for keeping track of these for us. See, we had the screen up during the break on the YouTube and the Twitch. But I think the only Thursday I haven't gotten wrong was a week where we both had you picked and I tailed you. I don't remember the matchup, whatever it was, maybe Washington early, whatever it was. I just didn't go against
Green
you,
Bay.
And I that's the one I got, and the other ones I've gotten wrong every time.
That's the one where I'm not sure I was right. Washington, Green Bay, but I think I have all the others. Miami here was one, and then last night was that was beautiful.
When you texted me yesterday while I was still down and out, and you said you were taking the Giants, I was really tempted to just say I'm taking the Giants. But, we have a show. I was hopeful I'd be here today. Like, it's fine. I'll take the Eagles.
That's how you get in trouble here.
Yep. Because
you're chasing the points.
I liked the Giants, too, and I was like, he took them. All right, we got a competition.
You're chasing the points.
Competition, in finger quotes.
Let's see if a 4.5 game lead is enough for you to chase the points again today. All right, I'm ready. I gotta be with my Cowboys. Dallas -3 at Carolina. I mean, Carolina is coming off a win. They blew out Atlanta, too. I don't think they're seen as a patsy. Rico Dowdle revenge game. Chuba Hubbard out for the Panthers. He had 200 yards rushing last week. But I'm so in on Prescott and that offense, even without Lamb, who also won't play this week. I'm betting on Dallas to keep it rolling offensively, -3. Like if Carolina had lost last week, I'd be more reluctant to do this. But they didn't. Pick one. Pick two. I'm taking Seattle at Jacksonville, -1.5. I think Jacksonville is bad. I'm not a believer in that at all. Lucky win against Kansas City. Really haven't played good teams. They're 4-1. We've even had Bills teams like this where really we kind of know, but the record maybe says we're good. This is going back pre-Allen. Just a couple of times where I think you knew, but you didn't want to face it. That's how I feel about the Jaguars. I just don't.
Some people are saying that about this year's Bills.
Yeah, I mean,
they're right. Cumulatively, what the teams they've beaten have won two games, whatever it is. Yeah,
that's right.
Anyway,
well, what is it? New England was the first team they played that had won a game.
Yeah,
right. The Saints have now won a game. Anyway, yes, I think the Seahawks are good. I don't think the Jaguars are good. I'm going to risk it on west to east for 1 o'clock. The body clock thing, and take the Seahawks. Pick 3, New England. So maybe this is a sucker pick. Patriots off the win here at New Orleans, but like with the Panthers, New Orleans is coming off a win itself. And I just think the Patriots have more. I kind of respect what the Saints are doing. It's not terrible. Kellen Moore, Kendre Miller is getting in. Shaheed hit last week. Olave's good. I don't think they're the worst team in the league, maybe, like we thought they could be. But I respect the Patriot thing. And I think the turnover problems they've had, the fumbling problems they've had, are early to think about when you're considering, like, this next game of theirs, that they've turned the ball over. But that stuff just is more random to me. And I think if they play an even game in turnovers, they'll beat the Saints. So I'll give 3.5 with the Patriots. And I like the Bears Sunday night. +4.5 in Washington. 1 underdog. I feel like that's going the right way. And when these teams played last year and the Bears were really bad, it was a Hail Mary that Washington needed to beat them. Still no McLaurin. Washington is coming off a nice win. Which is why I kind of want to go against them, because I think they're okay. I like the direction of the Bears. +4.5, good number. And in college, I'm just having fun here. Like, I got a lead. I'm having fun with this. I never know what to do with college except do what Sam says. I'm going against Sam. I'm going against the room on their show. I'm taking Missouri. Oh. Are you taking Alabama? I felt like you would take Alabama. I'm taking Missouri.
Here we go.
+3.5 at home against Alabama. Who would do that, right? Who would do that? I would do that. Done.
I didn't know any of this about Sam. It didn't come up during his appearance here, so I didn't know the room. I don't know. But
the room.
Sam has been on Alabama the prior 2 weeks. I know this because I get texts at random times that say, like, phew, Alabama cover from him. I think last week more so than 2 weeks ago.
They were lucky last week.
Yeah, right. 2 weeks ago was Georgia, and that wasn't that tense.
That was nice, yeah.
So anyway, yeah. By the way, shout out to G. He's got the picks as they're being made, scrolling on so the bullpen can know what's going on. We see you, bullpen. It's bullpen, just so you know, but just between us, just talking, everyone else turn the radios off. it's so arduous for me to log in here to comment on anything that's going on in the bullpen that I don't do it anymore. But I do see you. I'm keeping an eye on yous. Keep it clean, all right? I don't want my kid to have to pull any of yous over because he monitors that in the morning. But, like, it's like a 10-step process for me to sign in to be able to get in there. And I just –
10 steps.
I'm exaggerating. But it's the whole – this is a whole thing. There's an app on my phone I got to click, and it's a pain.
I respect this.
It's a pain in the ass.
It's easier to break into Fort Knox than into Yahoo Fantasy Hockey.
You people, I want to tell you that you mean something to me, but not enough for me to have to click an extra button. Look, I'm just keeping it real.
This is like saying no offense, but.
No offense, but.
I love you, but I'm not. I don't really care about you.
But I don't care. Right. Anyway, good job. That was the point. I wasn't out here to insult anyone, and now I'm digging a hole. All right, anyway, Alabama -3.5 at Missouri. I mean, come on, Missouri.
I know, right? Who would bet Missouri?
I mean, journalism is dead. I don't know what you think you got going over there, Missouri.
Oh, what's the name of that school? I forget. Jerry Sullivan.
Jerry graduated from there. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry to take. That was a cheap shot, but yeah, sometimes.
Newhouse is Syracuse. Medilla's Northwestern. I'll get it.
Remember what I said about the coffee earlier? That's the coffee right there is what that is. The cheap shot at Missouri was coffee.
Who would bet Missouri in football against Alabama? I would.
You would. All right. So we're head-to-head there. And that's it. All right. I'm going to take look, I talked up before I missed a couple of days out sick here. I was talking up Cam Ward. I got to take the Titans getting 4.5 points at the Raiders. I think he's going to be good. I don't know that they're going to win, but whatever. I talked him up this week, so I'm going to get on the train. I mean, what are the Raiders doing well right now? Giving the ball away. That's not a trait you want to be doing well at.
No.
So I'll take Tennessee in the points at Vegas, a notoriously tough place to play. Wait, no, it's not.
Vegas. It's a tough place to play Baccarat.
Right. It's a tough place to win at blackjack, maybe. I don't know. I'll take the Lions. I'll ride with Sam. Again, I did these prior to knowing that he was on that side. Last time I took the Chiefs in a big 4:25 window. This is a night game Sunday night. They destroyed Baltimore. So I don't know. Get what you sometimes ask for. Maybe I'm walking into an ambush. I'll take the Lions getting 2.5.
Giving 2.5. Getting?
They're getting 2.5 points. Okay. Yeah, Detroit is
plus 2.5.
Underdog there. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also. I think Sam mentioned Colts too rich for him. -7. Last I looked, hosting Arizona, and It would make sense if they bust this week because I have picked against them most of these weeks. I don't believe it. Now I'm on the Colt train. This is the house. This is what they talk about, right? This is or not the room. I'm the room.
You are the room.
Yeah.
Indy
-7. And I'm going to take the Bills -4.5.
All right.
Just cuz. I respect Atlanta. I thought this game would be the toughest beyond the Baltimore game of the stretch before the bye. I just feel a bounce back. I think they will lean into the ground game and just chew it up. So I'll take the Bills minus the points.
Drive Around the League, brought to you by Mike Barney Nissan. Awesome cars, great dealership, lousy jingle. Football Friday continues next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR. Okay, Football Friday continues. Welcome back. We talked to Matt Schauf earlier from Draft Sharks, and you brought up Dalton Kincaid to him. You know, okay, right? Like last week, you got plays out of him. Maybe was it a career game even?
Yeah, first 100-yard game of his career is what it was. So no touchdowns.
No touchdowns, which can be random, but it's not like we're at – I mean, that's not the point with Kincaid at this point. Like that he should have touchdowns. He really doesn't need to have touchdowns. Like it's not like he's a frequent target down there. But you want – what do you want? If you want him, like in fantasy or something, to pop, you really want him to be on the field more. Routes.
Yeah, that what I feel like the story is with him this year, a part of the story with him is that he's doing a lot and rating very favorably in some different metrics, but his usage is low enough that he's doing a lot with a little. Like as little as possible, but he's doing more than what you would expect considering how infrequent his usage is. I think am I tangling that up? Did I make that harder than I needed to? So what I'm seeing a lot, and not just from like Bills content creators, is you gotta use him more. Like it's an edge for you. It's working. He's open. The connection is there again. Last year was a weird year. He and Allen just did not. Like the number of targets that were way off there was, or at least off enough, whatever, incomplete.
Uncatchable.
Yeah, right. That's it. Thank you. Kind of jarring how off that was. That's not the case this year, so much so that it's got, I think, a lot of people going, like, come on, use that more. That's the thing. That's your engine for your passing game. So I don't know if that's too in the way of everybody eats or what. He's got two other tight ends that are eating playing time too, and they want to be diverse there. So, maybe he'll never be like their leader in snap share at tight end, but he's been really good with what he's been fed so far.
I guess that's the most I could say, really. Like I feel like you should be able to get games like last week and even mix a touchdown in once in a while. But I don't expect that to become consistent. I don't think we're at a point where the Bills are going to rethink their everything, their game plan, their personnel usage. They did lose, but they probably just put that to turnovers and moved forward, I think. That's what I'm expecting. I think what they want, maybe Sal said this, I think what they probably want right now for Monday night, if they could have something from their offense Monday night, is more from Cook than they got. That's really, there's their engine, that guy.
I think they're going to lean into that hard on Monday.
And, what does that mean? Probably means a close game.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes.
Like that means they're going to keep it close if they do that. Well, we'll see. I think I heard that Stephon Diggs, by the way, on Sunday night, who caught 10 passes on 12 targets, ran 23 routes in the game. Like more than half his routes, he got the ball. Like that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Wide receiver ones are going to run more routes than that. And there weren't that many dropbacks either, but pretty efficient for what he was doing in that game. I remember a couple times being in the stadium looking for Diggs and realizing he was on the sideline for certain plays. Like ACL injury, they didn't wear him out.
Right.
But he had a big night. Bills and Falcons on Monday night. We'll have the pregame show right through the afternoon, starting when we get here at 3 o'clock, the roundtable with Chris and Eric and all of that. Next, though, our chat with Sam Panayotovich, looking at some of the lines, including Bills-Falcons for week 1 from Bet Sweats. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. It is Football Friday on WGR.